teaching staff, I think, has done, for the most part, a terrific job doing that. And what Darlene's question is about Ron Guidry's comment, is there any way a pitcher can work on throwing first pitch strikes? Can he do it in his bullpen? Would he ever be asked to throw a simulated game? Or how does a pitcher become adept? Or is it simply a matter of concentration? How does a pitcher become adept at throwing first pitch strikes?
It all goes into their bullpen work, into their side work. They got to just, we call, the same we say in baseball, pound the strike zone, which means that they're aggressive throwing strikes, aggressive strike throwers. And that's what we preach that to our pitchers. You're going to go strike one to these hitters. Obviously, every situation is going to dictate. I mean, you're not going to throw a first pitch strike on a guy who's a power hitter, and the game when you run it, they got the game on the line. You might want to go off the play a little bit and see if you can chase, but that's our philosophy with the Angels, and even counts want to throw our best command pitch. And those counts are 0-0, 1-1, and 2-2. We want to throw our best command pitch because we don't want to fall behind. Those counts are counts that you fall behind in. 0-0 if you throw a ball, now you're down 1-0. 1-1 count, if you throw a ball, it's a 2-1 count. 2-2, if you throw a ball, now it goes 3-2. And if you throw a strike, in those situations, now you're up 0-1, 1-2, and in a 2-2 count, we can probably get the guy out. So we teach our guys to throw strikes.
And it's been taught well. This staff has not walked the ballpark. That's another saying that former Colonel Manager Gary Templeton used, Bobby. He said, I can't stand when pitchers walk the ballpark.
Yeah, and that's any manager, any pitching coach. We want guys to throw strikes. You know what? In player development, we don't care if guys get hit. We just want them to throw strikes because they're going to learn how to, with repetition and with experience, they're going to learn how to command their pitches. And we just want them to throw strikes.
Thanks, Bobby, and thanks to Darlene of Tipton, Iowa, piggybacking on that comment about Ron Guidry, from Ron Guidry, the Yankee pitching coach, about the importance of first pitch strikes. A break from Fort Wayne, where the Kernels are out to even this series with the Wizards with a win tonight. Stephen Merrick, Colonel All-Stars on the hill, and we'll wrap things up from Memorial Stadium. Another question for the Colonel Manager just ahead here on the South Slope Communications Triple Play Show.
Second to none, South Slope Cooperative. We're here for your communication needs, internet service, telephone, and TV. As a cooperative telephone company, our members are owners, we make a good team. Service second to none, South Slope Cooperative Communications. Communications Triple Play, voice, video, and data with South Slope Cooperative in North Liberty. South Slope's lineup features everything that connects you to information. Digital wireless phones, long-distance plans, data home and business wiring, video conferencing, dial-up and high-speed internet service, fiber optic installation and termination, and digital video TV service in most areas. For all your communication needs, think South Slope. Visit them at southslope.com.
Welcome back to Fort Wayne, where Colonel Manager Bobby Magallanes is fielding questions from you Colonel fans, as he does every Friday here on the South Slope Communications Triple Play Show. And Bobby, we check in finally this evening with in Shellsburg, Iowa, with Renee. Renee has read the book Moneyball by Michael Lewis that portrays the style or the management philosophy of Billy Beane and the Oakland A's. And Oakland places a high value on-base percentage. And Renee of Shellsburg, Iowa, would like to know, she knows that a 300 hitter is a good hitter. What is a good on-base percentage in this modern day when we talk about that statistic so much? What's a good on-base percentage?
Good on-base percentage probably about 350. 340, 350 is a real good on-base percentage, and that means you're getting on base 35% of the time. 400 now, you're talking, that's excellent. I mean, those are the Frank Thomases and guys like that really get on base, that draw a lot of walks. But I think a 350 on-base percentage is a good percentage. That's something that every organization has different thoughts about. I know like you said, with Oakland, they're big on that. But I know our organization, we're more on production. And there is a difference. No, there's a big difference, and we want guys who can drive in runs, and if you get a productive hitter, then you have a chance to score runs, because as in our case here, we got guys who get on base, and we just don't have the guys who drive them in. So, all that getting on base and the on-base percentage goes out the door, because there really no one's behind those guys who drive them in.
You, in essence, need a balance of both, Bobby.
Oh, you do. I'm big on production. I talked to the kids today about that. Every ball club, every organization, every business wants people who are productive.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and productive people, they bring prosperity to their organization, and that's what we're looking for, and that's why I told the guys, just be productive. When you're up at the plate, be a productive hitter, drive in runs or score runs.
Boy, Bobby, you just put it back in focus with me, because that's what the Kernels strive for in the off season and during the season, is to produce not only revenue and income, but once the season starts, to produce a memorable experience at the ballpark. And you can't just sit back on your hands and expect to be productive.
Oh no, it doesn't come by just hoping things work out. That's the thing is as players, as human beings, whatever it is that you're working at, whatever job you have, it's all about production. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you're a hot dog vendor, you got to produce and be the best hot dog vendor. I tell the guys, if you're not playing that day and you're catching bullpens, or you're going to be on a chart, be the best chart guy. Do the best chart possible. Because when you do those little things and you're productive in that, everything is going to come easy to you, and you're going to be productive where you go.
Bobby, thanks for the life lesson that we can all apply, all based on Renee of Shellsburg, Iowa's question. Bobby, thank you so much. When we return home from this 7-game road trip and start our second half at home next Thursday, please treat yourself to a meal at any of our Zio Giano's spaghetti houses. Pasta that will make you sing. Bobby Magianis, thank you for accepting this $5 gift certificate to Zio Giano's, and thanks again for all of your great baseball insights on this South Slope Communications Triple Play Show.
It's my pleasure, John. Thank you.
Bobby Magianis fielding your questions as he does every Friday. Tonight from Fort Wayne, where the Kernels are out to even their series with the Wizards with the victory tonight. Starting lineups are just ahead. This is Kernel Baseball on the Kernel Radio Network.
Service second to none. South Slope Cooperative. We're here for your communication needs. Internet service, telephone, and TV. As a cooperative telephone company, our members are owners. We make a good team. Service second to none. South Slope Cooperative Communications. Communications Triple Play, voice, video, and data with South Slope Cooperative in North Liberty. South Slope's lineup features everything that connects you to information. Digital wireless phones, long-distance plans, data home and business wiring, video conferencing, dial-up and high-speed internet service, fiber optic installation and termination, and digital video TV service in most areas. For all your communication needs, think South Slope. Visit them at southslope.com.
We welcome you to Fort Wayne, Indiana for Kernel Baseball. It's Game 2 of a 4-game series that saw the Wizards win in 12 innings last night, 3-2, and that sunk our extra inning record, unfortunately, to an abysmal 2-11. But the bright side is you have to be a pretty good baseball team to play 13 extra inning games in 71 total, and the Kernels' record in one-run games dipped to 10-15 on the heels of last night's series opening loss here at Memorial Stadium. We have a lovely evening for baseball. A light breeze is blowing in from center field. Beyond the wall is Coliseum Boulevard, a very busy thoroughfare. Our friend Fred Nash will be along a little bit later this evening to talk more about some of the historic significance of this great community in Northeast Indiana, Fort Wayne. It's a premier pitching matchup tonight. Kernel All-Star right-hander Stephen Merrick, 7-1 on the year with a 2.29 ERA, will be opposed by 6'4" right-hander Stevie Delabar of the Wizards. Stevie beat the Kernels just 10 days ago, Tuesday, June 13th, a noon game. Delabar beat the Kernels 2-1. He gave up only one hit in his 7 innings of work. Stevie Delabar is 5-4. The big raucous you hear in the background, we're going to have a big crowd here tonight at Memorial Stadium. Over 5,000 are expected. Jake the Diamond Dog is taking a basket that was full of baseballs for the first pitch ceremonies here at Memorial Stadium. Jake has returned to his pen or his doghouse down the right field line. He'll be entertaining all evening. On this 84-degree Friday night, let's set the starting lineups. This is the sixth meeting between our two ball clubs. The Kernels split 4 with Randy Reddy's Wizards in our home ballpark a week and a half ago. And Randy Reddy has guided his team to an overall record of 32 wins. Check that, 32 wins and 36 losses. Here's the starting lineup for Fort Wayne. Javis Diaz, the leadoff batter, scored 2 of the 3 Wizard runs in their extra inning win last night. Diaz leads off in center field. He had 3 hits. Batting second, he drove in the game-winning run in the 12th inning, third baseman Seth Johnston. Will Venable is 4th in the league in hitting with a .315 average. Venable will be in left field and hit third. The cleanup batter for the Wizards is the designated hitter Kyle Blanks. He's 6'6", 270. Batting fifth behind the plate for Fort Wayne is Nick Hundley. Darrell Jones will be at first base tonight, and Jones will hit sixth. Batting seventh out of Vanderbilt University in right field, Mike Baxter. Matt Bush, the first player taken in the 2004 amateur draft, is from San Diego, California. He's striving to make it to the big leagues to play for his hometown Padres. Bush at shortstop, playing in his second game this season, coming off a broken ankle, will bat eighth. And batting ninth, he doubled leading off the Wizard 12th inning and scored the game-winning run. Jesus Lopez at second base. On the hill is 6'5" right-hander Stevie Delabar. Stevie was a Padre 29th round pick out of Volunteer State Community College in Tennessee back in 2003. Delabar, a 23-year-old right-hander in his third year of pro ball, and as I said, he flanked the Kernels in beating us 2-1 last Tuesday, June 13th, 2 Tuesdays ago. 7 innings pitched, no runs, allowed only 1 hit. Flint Whipke was the only Colonel to get a hit off Stevie Delabar, who struck out 6 and walked 1. Delabar's 5-4, making his 14th start of the year, and he has an ERA of 3.20. The umpires are taking in the lineups, and as always, Allen Motor Company sponsors the Colonel starting lineup. The 2005 Buick LeSabre Custom can be had at Allen's right now for just $199 a month. That's $13,890 for the plush, lush, and affordably priced 2005 Buick LeSabre Custom. It gets 30 miles per gallon, plus your first year's maintenance is free. Your first year's maintenance is on Allen's when you buy the 2005 Buick LeSabre Custom now. Leading off for the Kernels in the Allen Motor Company Kernel starting lineup, he's riding a 15-game hitting streak, leads the league with 25 stolen bases, center fielder Brad Kuhn. Heinley Stacia, switch-hitting Kernel All-Star shortstop, will bat second. Batting third, he drove in both of our runs in the 3-2 12-inning loss last night, second baseman Larry Infante. The Kernel cleanup batter leads the league in home runs with 14, designated hitter All-Star Jordan Renz. Flint Whipke didn't play in last night's series opener. Flint will catch and bat fifth in the Allen Motor Company order. Batting sixth, Mark Trumbo at first base. Newcomer from the land down under, Australian Josh Davies will play third base. Davies is batting seventh. He's making his Kernel debut. Hitting eighth in the Allen Motor Company lineup, Stantrell Smith in left field. And batting ninth is Anderson Rosario in right field. On the hill for the Kernels, rounding out the Allen Motor Company Kernel starting lineup, is all-star right-hander Stephen Merrick. Stephen's 22 years old. He's 7-1 with a 2.29 ERA. Merrick's earned run average of 2.29 ranks him fifth lowest in the Midwest League. Stephen Merrick, a no decision in his last start. That was a 5-2 loss against Beloit last Friday night, a week ago tonight. Merrick spun 6 shutout innings against the Snappers in the Kernel 5-2 loss, allowed 6 hits, struck out 5, walked 3. Stephen had his most impressive outing of the year against this Wizard Ball Club earlier this month on June 10th. He was an 8-3 winner over Fort Wayne. Merrick in 6 innings gave up just 1 run on 4 hits to the Wizards, fanned a season-high 12 batters, and only walked 1. A light breeze continues to blow in. It's partly sunny as the Wizards hit the diamond. Fort Wayne takes the field in their white home uniforms with blue pinstripes, blue hats, vest tops, and blue numbers trimmed in white. The Colonels stand at attention in front of their third base visiting dugout in their gray road uniforms with all navy blue caps and red numbers, red socks. Let's pause here at Memorial Stadium to honor America with the playing and singing of the Star-Spangled Banner. of applause for our national anthem singer here in Fort Wayne, where the Kernels are out to try to even this series with the San Diego Padre minor leaguers at a game apiece following Fort Wayne's 12-inning 3-2 victory last night. Anderson and Brown Eye Care, proud to sponsor the announcement of our umpires. Anderson and Brown Eye Care is located on I-380 Boyson Road, exit 25 in Hiawatha. Easy in, easy out at Anderson and Brown Eye Care. Things are coming into focus at Anderson and Brown Eye Care, where you can have your eyes examined. The building and offices and exam rooms are completely wheelchair accessible. It's a full-service comprehensive eye care center. In fact, it's the official eye care center of the Kernels. Anderson and Brown Eye Care Center, where you can pick out your glasses and or contact lenses right after you have your eyes examined by Dr. Anderson or Dr. Brown. Things are coming into focus at Anderson and Brown Eye Care. Our umpires here in Fort Wayne in this series, behind the plate tonight, DeAndre Anderson, and on the diamond, his partner, Kellen Levy. Remember, we're back at home this Thursday night to open up an 8-game homestand, and this Thursday night, it's a Buck a Cup Thursday. That means 12-ounce draft beer, 12-ounce sodas, and slushies are only $1, and we'll be giving away our Allegiant Air trip for a trip for two to Orlando on Thursday night. You can order your tickets by calling the Kernels at 896-7560, 896-7560, or by logging on to our website, www.kernels.com. A week from tonight, iOS Office Solutions will be presenting hats to the first 1,000 of you Kernel fans. A 7 o'clock start. Come early. The gates open at 6. Those iOS Office Solutions hats will go to the first 1,000 of you Kernel fans next Friday, a week from tonight, regardless of age or gender. Then a week from tomorrow night, Saturday the 1st, we get things off to a booming start in July. Procter & Gamble Fireworks Night. That's Saturday, July 1st. We're ready for baseball. 6'5" right-hander Stevie Delabar will tower, or is towering, over Brad Kuhn. Brad's average is .255. He extended his hitting streak to 15 games when he dumped a single into right field in the first inning last night. Glad to have you with us here on 1450 KMRY, Cedar Rapids. The game's first pitch is a fastball for a strike called. Kuhn, no homers, 18 RBIs, leads the Midwest League with 25 stolen bases. Delabar's working quickly. The next delivery is downstairs, according to the plate umpire, DeAndre Anderson. The third baseman, Seth Johnston, is playing just 6 feet off the line, and he's a few steps in front of the bag. Strike 2 called on the outside corner to Brad Kuhn. Now the third baseman, Seth Johnston, retreats back to normal playing depth at the hot corner. Darrell Jones is at first base tonight instead of Kyle Blanks. Blanks is the DH. Kuhn loops one over the head of the third baseman, down the left field line. Brad's racing around first. He'll hold on as Will Venable gets it back in. Brad Kuhn is hit safely in his 16th straight game. Kuhn at first with nobody out. Brad went the other way and looped it just over the outstretched mitt of Seth Johnston at third. It plunked down fair by about 2 feet in shallow left. A very fine play by Will Venable to hustle over near the line and prevent Kuhn from taking second. Brad Kuhn starts tonight's game just as he did last night's contest with a leadoff single. Now Hundley Stacia takes strike 1 called. How about Brad Kuhn? He now has extended his hitting streak to 16 games. A 16-game hitting streak for Colonel leadoff batter Brad Kuhn. Nick Hundley flashes the sign to Delabar, who misses low and away, ball 1. 1-1 to Stacia. Hundley sacrificed runners to second and third with 1 out in the 8th inning last night. Hundley was nothing for 4. Stacia's average is .260. Switch hitter batting left. Kuhn has a medium-sized lead. Is he running? No, he's not. Strike 2 called, a fastball to Hundley Stacia. Hundley's in the same hole that Brad Kuhn was in moments ago. That is a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Stacia wearing a pair of black batting gloves. Waits for the 1-2 from the tall right-hander. Instead, Delabar whirls and throws to Darrell Jones, the first baseman, and Brad Kuhn is back safely. Brad Kuhn at first. Nobody out here in the Kernel first inning. And Hundley pounds it foul back into the screen to stay alive at 1-2. We're 4 stories high above home plate here at Memorial Stadium, just to the left of home plate. This is the highest vantage point of any radio broadcasting booth in the Midwest League. We are way up in the air. Kuhn leaning, and he dives back safely. A throw by Delabar almost got by Darrell Jones, the first baseman. Up the middle for Fort Wayne, Matt Bush, who made his 2006 debut after breaking his ankle in spring training at short. The second baseman is Jesus Lopez. They're in a few steps at double play depth. Ball 2 is high, and it's 2-2 to Hundley Stacia. The Kernels took a 2-0 lead in last night's series opener on a Larry Infante 2-run double into right center. But the Wizards scored a run in the 5th, one in the 8th to tie it, and they won it in 12 innings, 3-2. The 2-2 to Stacia. A throw to first, and Brad Kuhn dives back in safely. Great to have our friend Fred Nash, a native of Fort Wayne, with us here in the booth tonight, along with his son Dever and his daughter Sydney. Stacia strokes one foul into the third base seats. We also want to welcome in the children's babysitter. Grace is with us. I can see why Sydney and Dever love Grace. She's a very patient, kind young woman. Hundley Stacia, switch hitting, batting left-handed. 1 homer for Hundley this year and a team-high 17 doubles. The next 2-2 offering from the tall Wizard right-hander is sliced foul straight back, and Hundley Stacia is having quite an at-bat here in the top of the first inning. Brad Kuhn on a 2-strike pitch lashed a base hit over the head of Seth Johnston at third, extending his hitting streak to 16 games. Hundley wearing a long-sleeve red shirt underneath his gray Kernel Road top. Is Kuhn running? Yes! Pitch up and away. Throw to second by Hundley in time. Brad Kuhn is caught trying to steal second on a pitch high and outside. Ball 3 to Hundley Stacia. And it was the shortstop, Matt Bush, who caught the peg from Nick Hundley, and it went 2-6. I'm telling you, Hundley had a perfect throw, or a perfect pitch to throw on, a pitch high and outside to Hundley. Ground ball, base hit up the middle. Hundley Stacia's aboard with a 1-out single. And I know what you're thinking. Why did Kuhn run? Well, the Kernels lead the league in stolen bases. And the Kernels have had an awful time trying to score runs this entire season. So what if Brad Kuhn was thrown out trying to steal second? That's the way you play the game. You keep trying to put pressure on the defense. And if it backfires every now and then, so be it. But you don't stop trying to put pressure on the defense. All right, Hundley Stacia's at first with 1 out. Here's Larry Infante, hitting a double play ball to short. Easy for Matt Bush, steps on second, throws it away, and Larry Infante is the beneficiary. Infante will reach on what will be ruled a fielder's choice. Well, Matt Bush had the easiest of chances. Larry Infante, who doubled twice last night, drove in the only 2 Kernel runs, forces Hundley Stacia at second, 6 unassisted, and then Bush's throw went to the home plate side of first, sailed past Darrell Jones. So Larry Infante is at first base with 2 out here in the Kernel first. Here's Jordan Renz, nubbing one off the end of the bat to shallow second. It's booted by Jesus Lopez. On to third, lumbers Larry Infante. The right fielder comes in, and Mike Baxter barehands it. And Jordan Renz grounding it weakly to second. And he reaches on an error by Jesus Lopez, the 18-year-old youngster from Mexico. Ooh, that was a routine ground ball. Perhaps Larry Infante blocked the sideline of Jesus Lopez, who had the ball ricochet off the heel of his glove into shallow right. With 2 out, Larry Infante rumbled over to third, and Brenz reaches. Jordan was 0 for 5 last night, but by putting the ball in play, he caused Jesus Lopez to commit an error, and the Kernels, with 2 out, have runners at first and third, and Flint Whipkey at the plate. Flint collected the only hit the Kernels had against this right-hander, Steve Delabar, in our ballpark back on Tuesday, June 13th. Flint with the leadoff double in the 5th inning. Flint didn't play last night. Right-handed hitter Flint Whipkey. Swing and a miss, strike 1 on a pitch over the letters. We're in the top of the 1st inning. And there's no score. But the Kernels have runners at the corners for number 5 hitter Flint Whipkey. Flint fouls the next pitch straight back, strike 2. You heard Colonel Manager Bobby Magallanes say on the South Slope Communications Triple Play Show that life in general is about productivity. The Colonel productivity offensively this season has been subpar. And hopefully we can crank it up here in the second half. The 0-2 from the Wizard right-hander. Strike 3 called. Flint Whipkey caught looking to end the inning. The Kernels do everything but score in the opening frame. No runs. 2 hits for the Kernels. 1 Wizard error. Kernels leave 2. And after 1/2 inning, it's the Kernels nothing. The Wizards coming up. Sidney Nash, if you don't mind, honey, if you'll put on the headsets, you have impressed me as the best first grader reading-wise I've ever met in my years. And Sidney, I'd like you to read an announcement to our listeners, if Grace can help you with the microphone. Sidney, take it away about the challenge to raise 30 tons or 60,000 pounds of food for area assistance programs. If you could let our listeners know about the plan, Sidney.
Make plans to attend the 4th annual Freedom from Hunger Night at Baseball Park Thursday, June 29th, and help the Kernels strike out hunger in our community. Beginning Thursday 29th through Sunday, July 2nd,
Vintage, honey.
A vintage Army troop transport vehicle will be parked outside the stadium to receive your donations. Our challenge is to fill that truck with food to help area food assistance programs to feed the hungry in our own community. Meet us at the stadium on Thursday, June 29th, and bring along a non-perishable food item. With that donation, you will be eligible to enter a drawing for a prize package to be given away on Freedom from Hunger Night at the ballpark. Join the Kernels in helping our community enjoy freedom from hunger.
Sidney Nash, that was outstanding. How did you learn how to read that well as a 7-year-old? Do you practice a lot?
Yes.
And, honey, you're reading in a program here in Fort Wayne. You've already met all the qualifications, so now all the minutes you read go to help feed not hungry people, but hungry who?
Animals.
Hungry animals. That's great. Sidney, thank you so much for reading that challenge to raise 30 tons or 60,000 pounds of food for area assistance programs. Did you know you were just on the radio? Well, you did great, Sidney. Thank you. That's Sidney Nash. Believe it or not, she's only 7 years old. She's in first grade here in Fort Wayne. Stephen Merrick has delivered high and away twice to Javis Diaz, the center fielder for the Wizards. Diaz was a real thorn in our side last night. He was 3 for 5, and he scored 2 of the Wizard 3 runs. The all-star right-hander, Stephen Merrick, pumps in a fastball. Strike 1. We're just underway here in Fort Wayne, bottom of the first inning. Kernels did everything but score in the top of the first, had 2 hits, and there was a Wizard error, but the Kernels could not break out on top as Javis Diaz takes up and away ball 3. Diaz bunted his way on with 2 out in the 5th last night and scored. Then he doubled leading off the 8th inning and scored to tie the game 2-2. Left-handed hitter bats from a low squat and fouls one right below us. And that's strike 2 to Javis Diaz. This Fort Wayne Ball Club is hitting .254 as a team. That's tied for 7th in the Midwest League. The Kernels are hitting .233 as a team, 12th out of 14 teams. Diaz shoots it into left field, and playing shallow is Stantrell Smith. He drops it. Stantrell Smith looks into his glove as though the webbing broke. Stantrell Smith drops it, and that's too bad because you can't drop a ball hit right to you. Javis Diaz takes advantage of Stantrell Smith's third error of the year. Stantrell decided to catch it with one hand, and it cost him. He dropped it. One on an error here in the first inning for Fort Wayne. Boy, I don't know how you drop a ball like that, but you can't get on a guy for a physical error. The only thing you hope Stantrell learns from it is to possibly use two hands when catching a fly ball rather than one. Ball one is inside to Seth Johnston, right-handed batter. Javis Diaz reaches on an error. He hit one into shallow left. Stantrell Smith, having played shallow, came in a few steps and dropped the ball. Seth Johnston was 3 for 6 last night, a throw to first, and Javis Diaz is back standing up. Well, the Wizards committed an error in the top of this first inning, but the Kernels couldn't take advantage of it. Perhaps we can get a double play off the bat of Seth Johnston. A throw to first, and Javis Diaz, who's 2 for 3 in stolen bases in 8 games, tiptoes back standing up. Newcomer Josh Davies from Australia at third base for the Kernels. Up the middle, Stacia and Infante at short and second. A big lead by Javis Diaz. He's not running. And a fastball is upstairs. It's 2-0 to Seth Johnston. A 16-foot high wall all the way around the outfield except down the right field line. The wall is only 4 feet high. You could hurdle over it. It's 400 feet to dead center here at Memorial Stadium, a 16-foot high army green colored plywood wall. And then above the 16-foot high wall and left is a giant screen that they call the Tater Sack, and it protects cars that drive along Coliseum Boulevard beyond the left field wall. Ball 3 is upstairs, and Seth Johnston has worked the count in his favor, 3-0. No score. We're in the bottom of the first inning. The skies have turned overcast, and I'm surprised the umpiring crew hasn't asked for the lights to be turned on. Seth Johnston won the game in the 12th inning last night with an RBI single past first. Strike one called from the Colonel right-hander, Stephen Merrick. Javis Diaz had 3 hits last night. He reaches on an error here in the first inning. Seth Johnston had 3 hits. Seth is from the University of Texas. He's a Longhorn. And fellow Lone Star Stater Stephen Merrick throws to first. Javis Diaz gets back safely. 10 rows of navy blue or royal blue box seats here at Memorial Stadium. 10 rows of royal blue box seats. Diaz is running, and a pitch stroked high in the air foul onto the picnic deck down the right field line here at Memorial Stadium. Now the count full to Seth Johnston. You heard from 7-year-old Sidney Nash about the 4th annual Freedom from Hunger Night at the ballpark Thursday, June 29th. We're asking you to help strike out hunger in our community by bringing non-perishable food items to the ballpark starting Thursday the 29th. Those non-perishable food items will help area food assistance programs. The runner goes, a smash into deep center. Kuhn on the run has it. Can Brad throw to first for a double play? The long throw to Trumbo. In time! Double play! A line drive by Seth Johnston, caught in deep center by Brad Kuhn. And then Brad heaved it all the way in on the fly to Mark Trumbo, who stretched out, and Javis Diaz, who went all the way to second base on the line drive out to center, could not get back in time. Could not get back in time. And it's an 8-3 double play. And does that ever change the momentum in this game? Oh, the Wizards go from having a runner at first and nobody out, and a 3-2 count on the hitter, to 2 out, nobody on, and a strike called to Will Venable. Javis Diaz was doubled off first base on a line drive into center by Seth Johnston. 2 gone here in the Wizard first. Will Venable loops An 0-1 pitch from Stephen Merrick, foul outside third. Will Venable is fourth in the league with a .315 average. A changeup in the dirt for ball one to Venable. Our challenge is to fill an Army troop transport vehicle with non-perishable food items starting on Thursday, June 29th through Sunday, July 2nd. Will Venable cranks a 1-2 pitch foul, pulls it past first, into the Wizard right field bullpen. And the plate umpire, DeAndre Anderson, pops out from behind home plate and dusts off the dish. Will Venable with 1 homer, 28 RBIs. High draft pick by the Padres last year out of Princeton. Stephen Merrick painted the outside corner with what should have been strike 3, but the plate umpire, who has a much better view of it down there than I do up here, ruled it ball 2. It's 2-2 to Will Venable. Stephen, working quickly, changes speeds and gets the batter to bounce it to second. It's booted by Larry Infante, and that's the second error committed by the Kernels in the first inning. Will Venable was fooled on an off-speed pitch, grounded it weakly to second, and it ate up Larry Infante. It crawled up his left arm. Larry's charged with his 4th error of the year, and the Kernels have a case of fumbleitis early in this game, having committed 2 errors behind Stephen Merrick. Kyle Blanks, the 6'6", 270-pound slugger for the Wizards, steps in. Boy, that white ash bat in Blanks' hands looks like a toothpick. Kyle takes low for ball 1. Fred Nash, we're delighted you're with us again this evening. Please slip on that headset. Thank you so much for taking me on a tour earlier this afternoon of your great home city of Fort Wayne, Indiana, Fred. We've got quite a crowd here tonight.
Yes, it's fireworks night here at Memorial Stadium, so fireworks after the game.
Fred, that continues to be the #1 draw in minor league baseball. It is at our stadium as well. The 1-0 to Blanks. A check swing bouncer over the hill. Larry Infante grabs it 1 step from the bag at second, steps on second base, and Kyle Blanks forces Will Venable on a check swing bouncer over the hill to end the Fort Wayne first inning. For the Wizards, no runs, no hits. 2 Kernel errors, a double play, and the Wizards leave 1 man aboard. We'll visit more about this great community of Fort Wayne with a proud native son, Fred Nash, when the Kernels bat in the top of the second inning. And after 1, it's the Wizards nothing, the Kernels nothing. You're enjoying Kernel Baseball here on the Kernel Radio Network.
Fairfax State Savings Bank is paying you to come to the ballpark every Wednesday this season. You heard right. Fairfax State Savings Bank is paying you to come to Veterans Memorial Stadium every Wednesday this season. The first 750 of you Kernel fans to enter the gates before Wednesday's home game will receive an envelope full of money inside from Fairfax State Savings Bank. Each of those 750 envelopes will contain a greenback up to a $100 bill. Fairfax State Savings Bank, free money Wednesdays. Come early to line your pocket with cash.
Meet Jim. When it's nice out, he spends weekends in his yard trying to kill weeds.
Gotcha.
Weekday, he spends weekends on the green. That's because Greg's Lawn Service takes care of his lawn. Mowing, fertilizing, pruning, and, weed control. Greg's does the big jobs, too. Landscaping, retaining walls, curb edging, and patios. So when you've had enough of those little devils...
Yes.
Call 393-0101. Greg's Lawn Service, a cut above the rest.
Hi, I'm Sonia Sedlock, your local Keegan Insurance agent at Andrews Insurance here in Cedar Rapids. We all know how quickly life can change. You buy a new car or a new home. Your family is blessed with a new baby. Your teenager starts driving the family car. I'm here to help with a complete line of insurance plans to give you protection when you need it the most. Keegan Insurance has been in business of insuring people for 85 years. I'm here to put your interests first. Please visit me, Tanya Sedlock, at the Andrews Agency.
Here we go to the second inning in Fort Wayne. Both teams had scoring chances in the first, but neither could cash in. This is the 6th meeting between the Kernels and Wizards, and we split 4 with the San Diego Padre minor leaguers a week and a half ago at Veterans Memorial Stadium. They won last night in 12 innings, 3-2. Mark Trumbo is first up for the Kernels, right-handed batter. And Mark shoots one off the end of the bat down the right field line. Foul. Out of play. Beyond the reach of Mike Baxter, the right fielder, onto the picnic deck. Mark Trumbo was 0 for 5 last night. He's hitting .220. 9 home runs, 32 runs driven in. For the 20-year-old 6'4", 220-pounder, and a changeup just missed low from Stevie Delabar. Well, Fred Nash, our guest from the city of Fort Wayne, we got a lot of positive comments about your visit on the air last night. People enjoyed hearing about your great city. Here's a swing and a miss by Trumbo. I promised them that you would explain why, with Fort Wayne being so flat, why is this city called the Summit City? And I'll have you explain that after this 1-2 to Mark Trumbo. Swing and a foul straight back. Why the Summit City, Fred?
John, that's a good question. The reason that Fort Wayne's called the Summit City is because it was the high point on the Wabash-Erie Canal, and so it was considered the highest place, and thence the Summit City.
And that name is stuck. Mark Trumbo down swinging on a good changeup from Stevie Delabar. 1 out here in the Kernels' second inning. And the batter is newcomer Josh Davies. Davies, making his Kernel debut, is a sleek, trim, 6'4" Australian. I know, Fred, you and your wife, Kathy, and your family love to travel. Have you ever been to Australia?
Yes, we were there a couple years ago for a friend's wedding.
Swing and a foul off to the right by Josh Davies. He hit .244. Check that. He hit .293 in 44 games in rookie ball in Mesa, Arizona last year. 2 homers, 23 RBIs. Josh Davies, a right-handed batter, backs away from a pitch inside. I've never heard an American visit Australia, Fred, that didn't love it.
Oh, it's a great place. The people are wonderful, and they have a fabulous sense of humor. It was really a wonderful trip.
Ball 2 almost hit Josh Davies. Stevie Delabar making his 14th start of the year. 5-4 his record. In 64 2/3 innings, he's only allowed 55 hits. Fan 53 and 64 2/3, walk 26. Josh Davies ahead 2-1. Corks it underneath the glove with a diving shortstop, Matt Bush. It trickles into shallow center. Javis Diaz gets it back in, and Josh Davies singles in his Kernel debut. Josh Davies smoked it to the left of the diving shortstop, Matt Bush. That ball was just too hot to handle. Matt got leather on it, but then it rolled into shallow center. Josh Davies has the 3rd Kernel hit of the evening, and he's 1 for 1 as a Kernel. Davies has a short lead at first as Stantrell Smith bats here in the second inning. No score. Swing and a miss by Stantrell. Fred, what part of Australia was your friend's wedding in?
Interestingly enough, it was in Sydney, which is, of course, the same as the name of our daughter, Sydney.
That's right. Here's the 0-1 to Stantrell Smith. And a high pop foul should be caught behind first by Darrell Jones. He drifts over to the warning track material, and Darrell Jones has it for the second out of the inning. Stantrell Smith was thrown off stride on a good changeup, and he fouls out to first. 2 gone for Anderson Rosario. Anderson in 6 games, batting .167. No homers, no RBIs. Anderson doubled leading off the 8th inning last night. That's when the Kernels had a chance to win the game. They were leading 2-1 in the top of the 8th. Had runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, but failed to score. Well, Fred Nash, they drive on the wrong side of the road in Australia, don't they?
Yes, they do. Everything's different in the land down under, but they know how to have a good time.
That's the most important thing. Fred, did you and your wife do any driving, and how hard is it to get used to?
We did some driving. I was the designated driver, and my wife was pretty terrified. I don't know if that's because how I drove or being on the wrong side of the road.
Anderson Rosario hits a towering pop-up to shallow left. Matt Bush circles underneath it on the edge of the grass, and Matt puts it away to end the Kernel's second inning. Anderson Rosario pops to short. In the Kernel's second inning, no runs. 1 hit. There were no wizard errors. The Kernel strand 1 and left 3 aboard in 2 innings. Jake the Diamond Dog is making an appearance down the right field line. That catches the eye of 7-year-old Sidney Nash. We'll have more with Sidney's father, Fred Nash, a native of Fort Wayne, when the Wizards bat in the home half of the second. After an inning and a half, Kernels nothing, Wizards nothing. You're enjoying Kernel Baseball on the Kernel Radio Network.
There's a lot you can do to satisfy your taste for Italian. You can marry one.
To you, Susan Smith, take Giuseppe Florentino.
You can drive one. Or you can go to Zio Giano's and feast on Zio's homemade bread, pizzas, and pasta, authentically prepared to Zio Giano's famous Italian style. Zio Giano's for the hometown taste of Italy.
Oh, come to Zio Giano's, the pasta makes you Zio. Come to Zio Giano's for real Italiano. Come to Zio Giano's, the pasta.
What do I get at Cost Cutters? Hey, my hair is my trademark. I gotta be able to count on a good cut and stuff to keep my hair looking thick, even if it's not.
I get a good cut, no long wait, a smile, and a little something left over in my wallet.
I get little trims that keep my hair long and healthy, and stuff to make it loose and curly one day, straight and sassy the next.
With expert stylists trained in the latest trends and techniques and your favorite professional styling and hair care products, you'll always get what you're looking for at Cost Cutters. At Cost Cutters, you can always count on convenient, affordable, professional care and products that help you create just the style you want. At Cost Cutters, you'll always get a little more.
What do I get at Cost Cutters? A slick, clean cut, great highlights, and a little wink from the hottest stylist I've ever seen.
More of what you're looking for. Just yourself.
Stephen Merrick weathered 2 Kernel errors to keep Fort Wayne from scoring in their half of the first inning. We go to the bottom of the second. No score here at Memorial Stadium. The lights have just been turned on. And leading off for the Wizards is Nick Hundley, the catcher. Nick singled leading off the 4th inning last night, but was erased in a double play. Hundley was 1 for 5. Nick is a .270 hitter on the year, 7 homers, 32 runs driven in, and a fastball is pumped down the middle by Kernel right-hander Stephen Merrick. We're underway here in the second inning. The Wizards are in their white home uniforms with navy blue numbers. They wear vest tops with navy blue sleeves, and they wear blue pinstripes. A dandy changeup is in for strike 2 to Nick Hundley. He's in the hole, 0-2. Fred Nash, our guest from this great city of Fort Wayne. You mentioned it's called the Summit City because it was the highest point on the Erie Wabash Canal, Fred?
That's right.
And canals were used before horse and buggy and railroads, right?
Yes, indeed. They were the primary mode of transportation in the early 1800s.
And there's a historic part of Fort Wayne that kind of preserves that.
Yes, that's the landing district in downtown Fort Wayne. It's a little bit of our nightlife area with a couple of good bars and restaurants.
Hundley swats a pitch foul into the first base stands to stay alive at 0-2. Merrick rocks and brings it. Fastball, and that one is sliced foul over the first base Wizard dugout. There's no grandstand roof here at Memorial Stadium. This ballpark was built in 1993. And they've had some household names that came through here, including Sean Burroughs back in 1999. He's no longer a Padre. LaTroy Hawkins, who created quite a stir as a Cub closer a couple of years ago, pitched here as a Minnesota Twin farmhand back in 93, their inaugural year. Gold Glove center fielder Torrey Hunter played here in 1994. Nick Hundley, a straightaway stance, a right-handed batter out of the University of Arizona, taps one to the right of the mound. It'll be a tough play for Larry Infante. Larry gloves, scoops, and it's dropped by Mark Trumbo. That'll be an interesting call for the official score. Will he rule it an infield single, or will he charge Mark Trumbo with an error? They rule it a base hit. Nick Hundley squibbed one weakly to the right of the mound, past Stephen Merrick, and I'm telling you, Larry Infante made a great effort. He charged in, gloved it, and then scooped it like right from a bulldozer mouth from his glove to Mark Trumbo. Mark somehow dropped the ball, but no error charged on Trumbo. They give Nick Hundley a infield single. Tough to lose a batter when you're ahead of him 0-2, but don't blame Stephen Merrick. He made a very good pitch. Well, Fred Nash, I haven't had a chance to explain the historical significance of the name of your city, Fort Wayne.
Right. So Fort Wayne is named after a fort that was founded under the direction of General Mad Anthony Wayne, hence the name Fort Wayne.
And that was back in the early swing and a miss on a 1-0 pitch by Darrell Jones, 264 batter. He leads the Wizards with 10 homers. He's driven in 38. 1 on, nobody out. Bottom of the second inning. No score. Darrell Jones was a fourth-round pick by the Padres 2 years ago out of the city of Los Angeles. He skies one into deep right center, sending Kuhn and Rosario back. Anderson away back in front of the track. Makes the play. Darrell Jones flies out to right, one away here in the Wizards' second inning. Back to first goes Nick Hundley. And fortunately, Fred Nash, the city fathers and leaders in this community have preserved that fort from the 1820s, and it's quite an attraction in terms of tourism.
Right, John. It's actually not the original fort. It's a replica that was built around the time of our bicentennial, and it was staffed for a long time by volunteers in period costume.
Well, that's neat that you have that heritage preserved. Strike one into Mike Baxter, a left-handed batter. Baxter wears his navy blue socks up high. Open stance, 6 feet 190 out of Vanderbilt. Doesn't have any bend in his knees, Mike Baxter. And he smokes it into left. Santrell Smith on the run, makes the two-handed catch. Mike Baxter laced it hard on a line to left field. Santrell Smith, who dropped one in the first inning, used two hands to snare that one. Mike Baxter is retired on a smash into left. Two gone here in the Wizards' second, no score. Fred Nash is with us. He was born and raised here in Fort Wayne. And Fred, a lot of old-timers remember when televisions were sold back in the 50s and 60s, the advertisement said, get your Philco, or it has a Philco screen. And Fort Wayne has a direct tie to the invention of television.
Yes, that's right. One of the key inventors of the technologies behind television was a man with the very interesting name of Philo T. Farnsworth. And he made his most significant invention in 1927 when he was just 21. And he later moved to Fort Wayne and started the Philco Television Manufacturing Company, which was here for a number of years.
Unusual name, Philo, Philo.
That's right.
Thus the name of his television company, Philco. A 2-0 pitch is lofted into right by Matt Bush, and near the line, Anderson Rosario has it. Matt Bush hoisted it down the line in right, and Anderson Rosario caught it. And Stephen Merrick, a 7-game All-Star winner for the Kernels, pitches around a leadoff infield single and prevents Fort Wayne from jumping ahead here in the second inning. No runs for the Wizards, 1 hit. There were no Kernel errors, and the Wizards leave a man aboard. They've stranded a pair. Kernels come to bat in the top of the third. Big crowd here at Memorial Stadium. Great to have you with us on this Friday night. And after 2, it's scoreless between the Kernels and Fort Wayne. This is Kernel Baseball on the Kernel Radio Network.
Every day we use products that come to us in plastics. Milk jugs, water bottles, laundry detergent, ice cream. These are just a few of the hundreds, thousands of products that benefit from plastics. Well, once you're done using them, what do you do with them? Recycle. It takes no more energy to put that plastic in your blue recycling box rather than the trash. But what it does save is landfill space and natural resources. Reduce, reuse, recycle. It's just that easy. This message brought to you by Solid Waste and Recycling Services.
June is Perennial Gardening Month at Peck's Flower Shop and Garden Center. And Peck's has the plant experts. They call them plant people to help you select the very best for your garden or yard. Start your lasting perennial garden with Peck's great variety of new and all-time favorite perennials. From Peck's selection of quality perennials, you can select the right ones for your situation. Each week during this month of June, Peck's will feature a perennial plant available for a special price. Be sure to look for this week's featured perennial special as you stroll through Peck's acres of plants and flowers. The plant people at Peck's stand ready with all the free expert advice you'll need for a beautiful perennial garden. Peck's Flower Shop Garden Center, Nursery and Landscaping. They're at the corner of Blair's Ferry and Edgewood Road Northeast. They're open until 8 o'clock weeknights and until 5 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday. That's Peck's Flower and Garden Shop. Steve Delabar has now pitched 9 scoreless innings against the Kernels in 2 starts in this month of June. The Kernels had a great chance to break out on top tonight in the first inning. had 2 hits, and Fort Wayne committed an error, but the Kernels lost a man trying to steal second. And the Kernels got a 1-out single from newcomer Josh Davies, making his Kernel debut here tonight in the 2nd inning. It'll be the top of the order for the Kernels here in the top of the 3rd. No score. Brad Kuhn extended his hitting streak to 16 games by singling over to the third baseman's head in the 1st. Brad is fooled on a changeup and swings and misses, strike 1. Kuhn singled leading off the game last night. He walked twice, stole a base. Top of the order for the Kernels here in the top of the 3rd inning. The tall right-hander brings it. Outside, a fastball. Fred, your home city of Fort Wayne is loaded with beautiful greenery in the form of parks.
It is. Fort Wayne has a very well-known and well-regarded park system. We're all very proud of it.
Strike 2 to Brad Kuhn. In fact, right across your home is a park.
That's right, John. As you know from your visit this afternoon, we live across the street from Lakeside Park.
Beautiful park. Strike 3 called to Brad Kuhn, and that's the 3rd strikeout for Stevie Delabar. 1 away here in the Kernel 3rd inning. And the batter, Hundley Stacia. Hundley singled into center his first time up. Every Kernel home run hit this year means $25 from PRC's Community Care to the Haycap Food Reservoir and PRC's Home Runs for the Hungry campaign. Here's a high drive into deep left center. Javis Diaz going back, and he makes the running catch. Oh, Javis Diaz takes the triple away from Hundley Stacia. Diaz drifted back on the run and over his shoulder, calmly reached out and made a very, very fine catch in deep, deep, deep left center field to rob Hundley Stacia of what it would have been a sure triple. Well, Fred Nash, I think you'll agree, having seen Midwest League Baseball here the last 2 nights, you see a lot of plays at this level of professional baseball that would bring a big league crowd to its feet and make the ESPN web gems.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And it's also appreciated by the younger fans, like my 7-year-old daughter, Sydney, and her Wildcatters.
Oh, yes. Larry Infante fists a looper into shallow right, and making the running catch, sliding to his knees to do so, is Mike Baxter. Larry Infante's bid for a 2-out single was turned aside by right fielder Mike Baxter, who rushed in and made a running sliding catch. An easy inning for Stevie Delabar. He retires the Kernels 1-2-3. Nothing across for the first time tonight. And after 2.5 at Memorial Stadium, still the Kernels nothing and the Wizards nothing. You're tuned to Kernel Baseball on the Kernel Radio Network.
Pepsi Smash.
Hey, Mariah Carey. So you know that feeling you get when you meet someone new and like you got those butterflies every time when they call? Well, here's a ringtone that I created just for that moment. You can only get it at PepsiSmash.com. Then there's the flip side. The guy you chose to give the heave-ho 2 years ago, but he still keeps calling. Well, here's your signal not to pick up the phone. Nice, huh? There's only one place you can get these, PepsiSmash.com.
Pepsi gives you the chance to get original, exclusive ringtones created by your favorite artists like Mariah Carey. Look under specially marked Pepsi caps and log on to PepsiSmash.com for information. 1 in 3 gets a ringtone. Also enter for a chance to win the newest Motorola cell phone. A winner every 10 minutes. No purchase necessary. Promotion subject to official rules at PepsiSmash.com. Internet access required. You must be 13 or older to play. Promotion ends 8606. Ringtones must be downloaded by 82006. Void where prohibited.
Imagine the convenience of accomplishing your next real estate transaction under one roof. Buying a home, selling a home, or securing the right mortgage loan are simple and worry-free at Todd Financial Services. Todd Financial Services knows that you've worked hard to be able to make the dream of home ownership a reality. Todd Financial Services understands that people do business with people they trust. You can count on Todd Financial Services to put you and your needs first so that your real estate transactions are pleasurable.
Here we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning. No score. Stephen Merrick will face number 9 hitting Jesus Lopez. Jesus doubled into left center rather, leading off the 12th inning last night and scored the game-winning run. He's only 18 years old, a right-handed batter. And Lopez cuts on the first pitch and fouls it straight back, strike 1. Fireworks. Sponsored by Procter & Gamble a week from tonight, Saturday, July 1st. Yes, Sidney Nash is saying we need some fireworks now. Oh, yes, we had some during the national anthem. Playing even with the base at third is Josh Davies. A big curveball is inside, and it's ball 2 to Jesus Lopez. Lopez is batting .213, 3 homers, 11 RBIs. A late swing and a miss by Jesus. Jesus has played in 34 games for Fort Wayne. We were mentioning some of the household names that have come through as Wizards, and we'll continue to highlight a few of the fellas that played here. Jesus Lopez pops the next pitch foul off to the right. Corey Koski played here in 1995 as a Minnesota Twin minor leaguer. So, too, did Matt Lawton in 93 and Matthew Lee Croy in 1998. Jake Peavy, a Padres stalwart starter, pitched here in the year 2000. And Merrick's next pitch is fouled straight back. Oliver Perez, a highly regarded left-hander, pitched here in 2001. And the guy that seems to cause a lot of ruckus in the big leagues, A.J. Pierzynski, played here in 95 and 96. Look out, a changeup has the number 9 hitter Jesus Lopez jackknifing out of the way, ball 3. I remember when Luis Rivas was a 17-year-old shortstop here in 1997 for the Fort Wayne Wizards. The payoff pitch, drilled into shallow right. Anderson Rosario short hops it, blocks it. It's a leadoff single for the .213 number 9 hitter. We had him in the hole 0-2. Jesus Lopez cued it off the end of the bat and dumped it into shallow right. Anderson Rosario came rushing in, and Anderson was unsure of whether to try to dive and catch it, so he laid back on his heels, and the ball played him. It short hopped him. It's a leadoff single for the number 9 hitter. Well, Sidney Nash, let's have you put that headset back on, and I want you to describe, Sidney, if you can lower that microphone towards your... There you go. Sidney, what did Jake the Diamond Dog just do?
Got a bat.
Man, how did they teach a dog to do that?
I don't know.
That dog is smart. They probably give him a treat every time he does it.
Probably.
He deserves a treat. Here's Javis Diaz, left-handed hitting leadoff batter for the Wizards. A bouncer to first. Mark Trumbo will throw to second. Hits the runner. He hit the runner with the throw, and everybody is safe. That's an error on the Colonel first baseman, Mark Trumbo. Jesus Lopez makes it to second. Javis Diaz reaches on a fielder's choice. No error has been charged to Mark Trumbo. Mark tried to get the lead runner, which is good. The only bad thing is he hit. He hit the runner going from first to second in the back. The ball then caromed to the right of or to the left of the bag. Hindley Stacia picked it up with his bare hand. Now the Wizards with runners at first and second and nobody out. Is Seth Johnston bunting? No, he takes ball 1 inside. So the number 9 hitter singles to right, and then Javis Diaz bounces one to first. Mark Trumbo's throw struck the runner, Jesus Lopez, going from first to second in the back. Wizards have runners at first and second with nobody out. Here in the bottom of the third inning, no score. Stephen Merritt comes set. The 1-0. Swing and a miss on a changeup. I mentioned earlier that for every Colonel home run hit this year, the Haycap Food Reservoir receives $25 from PRC's Community Care and PRC's Home Runs for the Hungry campaign. The Colonels, with 42 home runs on the season, each worth $25 from PRC's Community Care to the Haycap Food Reservoir. A total of $1,050 has been donated by PRC's Community Care to the Haycap Food Reservoir. Right-handed hitting Seth Johnston takes ball 2 low from Stephen Merritt. Wizard runners at first and second with nobody out. Here in the bottom of the third inning, no score. Stephen comes set below the letters. Fastball is lifted into deep center. Brad Kuhn way back, has it in front of the warning track for the first out of the inning. Brad throws a one-hop strike into second, preventing Javis Diaz from going from first to second. But Jesus Lopez saunters over to third. First and third for the Wizards. One out here in the third inning for Will Venable. Will reached on an error by Larry Infante at second base, a fielding error by Larry in the first inning. Will Venable has a golden opportunity to give Fort Wayne an early lead. He wants at least a fly ball to chase home the runner at third, Jesus Lopez. Flint Whipkey in his red shin guards and red chest protector is out in front of home plate, giving signals to the Colonel middle infielders. That's in case Javis Diaz tries to steal second with Jesus Lopez at third base. Throw to first, and Diaz back standing up. We'll have a chance for you to earn a pair of tickets to the Classic at Bruce Moore's production of The Fantastics and a Bruce Moore souvenir book in the fifth inning. We'll have our Bruce Moore Bonanza question for you. Stephen Merrick misses with a changeup blown in, ball one to Will Venable. Will is a left-handed batter, and he takes a long look at his coach, his manager coaching at third, Randy Reddy. A light breeze continues to blow in from center field. Strike one called on the outside corner. Will Venable, fourth in the league with a .315 average. Batting with runners at the corners, one out here in the Fort Wayne third inning, no score. A throw to first, and Diaz dives back safely. Will Venable walked with 2 outs in the first inning last night and stole second. Venable went 1 for 4 in the ballgame. Colonel infield playing at double play depth as Stephen Merrick comes set, looks to third, and then whirls and looks to first, and neither runner was fooled by that old maneuver. That's right, a chance for you to earn 2 tickets to the Classics at Bruce Moore's performance of The Fantastics in the fifth inning. The runner from first goes, a pitch high, the throw to second, runner safe, and we should have an argument. I think the runner was out at second. Hindley Stacia can't believe it. The throw from Flint Whipkey beat Javis Diaz, and apparently Hindley either missed the tag, as Javis Diaz is credited with a stolen base. Ooh, he looked out, but the base umpire, Kellen Levy, said safe. Hindley Stacia hopped up and down in anguish. He thought, too, that Javis Diaz was out at second. Now a high fly ball into shallow center, and Hindley Stacia backpedaling, calls for it, has it! Hindley Stacia has it, and then hits the cutoff man in front of the mound, Mark Trumbo, to hold Jesus Lopez at third base. Oh, what a big, big second out recorded by the Kernels and Hindley Stacia, who drifted back into shallow left center to catch that pop-up by Will Venable for the second out here in the Wizard third inning. Now, if Stephen Merrick can get Kyle Blanks, he will have accomplished a mighty feat of keeping the Wizards off the scoreboard. Fort Wayne has runners at second and third with 2 out for Kyle Blanks. First pitch from Merrick, a knee-buckling curve, strike one called. Myron Noodleman will be at Veterans Memorial Stadium Sunday, July 2nd. He's funny as can be. Kyle Blanks golfs the 1-0 pitch high and foul down the first base side beyond the reach of Mark Trumbo. That wasn't a 1-0 pitch. It was an 0-1 pitch, and Kyle Blanks is in the hole 0-2. Myron Noodleman will be at the ballpark, Veterans Memorial Stadium, a 2 o'clock start on Sunday, July 2nd. And the first 500 of you Colonel fans wearing Freedom Festival pins will receive a backpack shaped like a baseball jersey. I've seen them, and they are very, very useful and attractive. That's right, Myron Noodleman at Veterans Memorial Stadium for a 2 o'clock start Sunday, July 2nd. Blanks takes a fastball way high, And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes to the right-handed hitter. It almost feels like a fan is blowing right into our broadcast booth high above Memorial Stadium. When you look out above the center field wall, the flag is almost motionless. But I'm telling you, there's a pretty stiff breeze blowing in. Blanks chops the pitch foul past third, and it's still 1-2 to the cleanup batter for the Wizards. Kyle Blanks, a .292 right-handed batter. 7 homers, 34 RBIs. He's batting with runners at second and third, 2 out, bottom of the third, a scoreless game. Blanks tied the game at 2 with an RBI single in the 8th inning last night. It was his only hit. He went 1 for 5. Lopez at third, Diaz at second. Strike 3 called! Stephen Merrick gets Kyle Blanks on a blistering fastball, belt high outside corner, and keeps the Wizards from taking the lead here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Fort Wayne had runners at first and third with 1 out, and they did not score. The Wizards put their first 2 men aboard here in the 3rd inning, and they failed to score thanks to some stellar pitching from all-star right-hander Stephen Merrick. For the Wizards in the 3rd inning, no runs. 1 hit. No Kernel errors. Fort Wayne leaves 2 men aboard. They've stranded 4. The Kernels come to bat in the top of the 4th inning in a scoreless tussle against the Wizards. You're listening to Kernel Baseball here on the Kernel Radio Network.
Don't you wonder sometimes how all those companies who claim to be the best can actually be the best? Doesn't just one of them have to be the best? When it comes to motor coach travel, Tri-State Travel is the best. We have the highest safety rating, the largest variety of coaches, a trained driving staff, and 66 years of experience. Don't you want to travel with the best? That would be Tri-State Travel, now at our new location on 7th Street Southwest.
Hi, this is John Rogers, the voice of the Kernels. I'd like to share a few words with you about Kernel team physician, orthopedic surgeon Dr. David Terse. My father was a surgeon, and like most sons, I looked up to him as the greatest dad and the best doctor on earth. When I was diagnosed with a torn meniscus in my right knee recently, I wondered if my doctor here in Cedar Rapids would measure up to my dad's standards. My doctor was Dr. David Terse. Dr. Terse's thorough and expert explanation of my x-ray, his calm and reassuring description of the procedure he would be performing, and his kind and confident bedside manner impressed me beyond my expectations. Dr. Terse has those exceptional qualities we all hope to find in our doctor: an established reputation of excellence, the ability to communicate with us so that we understand and trust his words, and that gut feeling that he truly cares about us. Dr. Terse is a world-class surgeon and a first-class person. I've experienced firsthand why the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, the Kernels' parent ball club, has entrusted Dr. Terse to care for our players.
Here we go to the top of the 4th inning. No score here in Fort Wayne. Stevie Delabar's first pitch is taken low and away. Ball 1 by Jordan Renz. Kernels have 3 hits. The Wizards have a pair. Jordan reached on an error in the 1st inning. Committed at second by Jesus Lopez. Ball 2 downstairs to the Kernel leading RBI man with 44. Jordan's tops in the Midwest League with 14 home runs. Renz, a check swing roller back to the base of the mound, and Delabar throws out Jordan Renz. Jordan Renz had a pitch come in on him and was cheated out of that swing, and the play made easily in front of the hill by Stevie Delabar, who is now retired. 6 straight Kernels. Log on now to the Bruce Moore website, www.brucemore.org, for your chance in the next inning to earn a pair of tickets to the Classics at Bruce Moore's production of the Fantastics. You'll find the answer to our Bruce Moore Bonanza on the Bruce Moore website, www.brucemore.org, and we'll have that Bruce Moore Bonanza question for you in the top of the 5th. Flint Whipkey takes low, and now a changeup. Swung on and missed by the Kernel catcher and number 5 hitter, Flint. Top of the 4th inning. No score here at Memorial Stadium. Ball 2 just misses inside to Flint Whipkey. Andy Pantini, our Director of Graphics and Technology, reminded me that on Monday, July 3rd, it'll be Iowa Public Television's Red Green Day at the ballpark. That's Monday, July 3rd, a 2 o'clock game. The gates open at 1. The Kernels will be wearing 1906 Cedar Rapids Bunnies uniforms, and they'll be auctioned off after the game. The 3-1 to Flint. Ball 4! Flint Whipkey draws a one-out walk here in the 4th inning, and he's the first Colonel to benefit from a base on balls by Stevie Delabar. Stevie pitched last season in Eugene, Oregon. He led the Northwest League with 16 starts. He won 4 and lost 6. Posted an ERA of 4.76. Delabar pitched 75 2/3 innings in 16 starts last year. Here's Mark Trumbo taking a breaking pitch for a strike called. Monday, July 3rd, the Kernels will be wearing 1906 vintage Cedar Rapids Bunnies uniforms. They'll be auctioned off after the game, and it's Iowa Public Television's Red Green Day at the ballpark. Ball 1 is low to Mark Trumbo, who struck out leading off the 2nd inning. Top of the 4th, no score here in Northeast Indiana. Want to remind you that you're tuned to Colonel Baseball on 1450 KMRY Cedar Rapids. 8 o'clock here in Indiana, 7 o'clock in Iowa. Mark Trumbo hits one into center. Over to get it is Javis Diaz. Javis in right center drifts over and makes the one-handed catch for the 2nd out of the inning. Mark Trumbo skies to center. Holding it first is Flint Whipkey. No score here in the 4th inning. Boy, I'll tell you, I have a great deal of respect for these Colonel pitchers. Our hitting doldrums have been well documented here in the first half. During this season. We just haven't been able to score runs most of the year. But the pitchers have not felt sorry for themselves. They haven't pointed the finger at the hitters. All they've done is gone out and pitch. They haven't walked batters. They haven't hurt themselves with pouting or feeling sorry for themselves. And that's a mark of true professionalism. Josh Davies tips one foul. Now a pitch over his head off the glove of catcher Nick Hundley, and that sends Flint Whipkey down to 2nd. Oh, goodness, they've charged the catcher with the passed ball. Last night, Tim Madison made a pretty good pitch, and they charged him with a wild pitch. So no consistency on the scoring end here in Fort Wayne. That was a wild pitch. It almost hit Josh Davies in the head, and the catcher, Nick Hundley, had to come way out of his catching crouch. I don't know how you can call that a passed ball, but they have. And Josh Davies, even on the count 1-1, singled in his Colonel debut with 1 out back in the 2nd inning. Josh will try to make himself 2 for 2. Delabar's pitch is squirted foul behind home plate, and it puts the Australian third baseman Josh Davies in the hole. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Josh is only 20 years old. Remember the great second half Australian Michael Collins had last year? Well, Michael's having a very fine season in the California League with Rancho Cucamonga. Davies, a right-handed hitter, stands straight away at the plate. And the 1-2. A base hit into left center. Rounding third is Flint Whipkey. The throw home by Will Venable is not in time, and Flint Whipkey scores to make it 1-0 Kernels. Josh Davies in his Colonel debut is 2 for 2. Davies served a single into left field. Will Venable charged it, came up throwing, but Flint Whipkey scored standing up on the RBI single by Josh Davies. 1-0 Kernels here in the top of the 4th inning. What a great Colonel debut for 20-year-old Australian Josh Davies, who comes up with a big clutch 2-out, 2-strike single into left, plating Flint Whipkey, who walked with 1 out here in this 4th inning. Now Stevie Delabar heaves in a strike called at the knees to Stantrell Smith, who fouled out to first his first time up. The Kernels, for the second night in a row here in Fort Wayne, lead the game. It's 1-0 here in the top of the fourth inning. Ball one is outside to Santrell Smith. Well, little Sydney Nash, our friend here, has found a new use for cotton candy. She's wadded up the pink cotton candy into a cotton ball. Big swing and a miss by Santrell Smith, strike two. The grandstand here at Memorial Stadium is jam-packed. The grandstand consisting of 10 royal blue seats and then a walkway, 5 rows of royal blue seats, then 15 rows of aluminum-back bleachers. Santrell Smith takes a borderline pitch low and away, according to plate umpire DeAndre Anderson, ball two. Josh Davies singling into left field to drive home Flip Whitkey and give the Kernels a 1-0 lead here in the top of the fourth inning. Santrell, right-handed batter, waves his wrist back and forth. Swings at a changeup and misses, strike three. Santrell Smith fans to end the Kernel fourth. 1 run on 1 hit, a walk, a pass ball. There were no Wizard errors. The Kernels strand a runner at first and have left 4 tonight. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning at Memorial Stadium before a big, big crowd, and the Kernels now lead the Wizards 1-0. You're enjoying Kernel Baseball here on the Kernel Radio Network.
Cedar Rapids' oldest wholesale greenhouse is also Cedar Rapids' full-service landscaping and lawn care center. Cedar Rapids Greenhouses has been serving Eastern Iowans for 50 years at the corner of Johnson Avenue and Edgewood Road, behind Duffy's on the Go. Cedar Rapids Greenhouses has a full line of trees and shrubs like magnolias, maples, and lilacs. And for a limited time, buy any potted tree and Cedar Rapids Greenhouses will deliver and plant it free. If you're searching for the right beautification project, let the trained landscape designers at Cedar Rapids Greenhouses help you create a unique plan for your home. From retaining walls to ponds, waterfalls, and fountains, they'll work within your budget and taste, and they do free estimates. Lawn care featuring mowing, fertilization, seeding, sodding, aeration, dethatching, maintenance, and cleanup are all done with care and precision. For the highest quality and low prices, see the difference at Cedar Rapids Greenhouses, Eastern Iowa's full-service landscapers at the corner of Johnson Avenue and Edgewood Road.
Hi, I'm Phil Andrews, your local Pekin Insurance agent at Andrews Insurance in Cedar Rapids. I'd like to introduce you to an easy-to-understand, affordable life insurance plan with great benefits. It's simplified issue whole life from Pekin Insurance. The plan requires no medical exam, has guaranteed rates for life, and a guaranteed cash value. Life insurance made simple and affordable from Pekin Insurance. To learn more, contact me, Phil Andrews, at Andrews Insurance.
We go to the bottom of the fourth inning, and it's 1-0 Kernels here at Memorial Stadium. 4,898 here tonight. 4,898. Uh-oh, a deep drive to left is going to tie the game, I think. Santrell Smith is on the warning track, and he has it. Whew, Nick Hundley gave me a scare. Stepping into the first pitch from Stephen Merrick, Nick Hundley hit it high and deep to left. It's hard to judge here from behind home plate, 4 stories up. Santrell Smith had it in his sights the whole way. He drifted back onto the track and caught it in front of the 16-foot high wall. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth inning. 1-0 Kernels. A chance for you to earn a pair of tickets to Bruce Moore's production, the classics at Bruce Moore's production of the Fantastics, and a Bruce Moore souvenir book. That comes your way in the top of the fifth inning. You can log on now, www.brucemore.org, BRUCEMORE.org. Darrell Jones takes a strike and now fouls one straight back. It's 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes to Darrell Jones, who flew out to right his first time up. Fort Wayne has belted 45 home runs this year in 68 games. They're third in the league in home runs. Darrell Jones grounds one sharply to short. It takes a charity hop above the bill of the cap of Hundley Stacia. Hundley pegs on to first. for the second out of the Fort Wayne fourth inning. 2 away here in the Wizard fourth, and the batter, Mike Baxter. I know I've reiterated this, or I've said this a number of times, but I want to reiterate again what a treat it is to watch these Kernel pitchers go about their work every day and every night. They are unbelievably consistently good. Strike one called to Mike Baxter. Tomorrow evening, Andy Hill will be on the mound for the Kernels. His 1-4 record not at all indicative of how well he's pitched since joining us about a month ago. Strike one to Baxter. Mike grounds one past the mound, up the middle. Hundley Stacia glides to his left, has it, wings his throw to Mark Trumbo at first to retire the side. Mike Baxter hit it hard over the mound, past the mound, up the middle, but Hundley Stacia was there to gobble it up and throw the batter out. What do you want from your pitcher when your teammates score a run in the top half of an inning? You want him to go out and blank the opposition. That's exactly what Stephen Merrick did in the bottom of the fourth inning, retiring the Wizards 1-2-3, nothing across. Our Bruce Moore Bonanza question is on the horizon, coming up next. In order to answer it, you need to log on to Bruce Moore's website, www.brucemore.org. We go to the top of the fifth inning at Memorial Stadium before a crowd of 4,898, and the Kernels are on top of the Wizards 1-0. This is Kernel Baseball on the Kernel Radio Network.
This summer, children of all ages will enhance their imaginations through reading thanks to the Summer Reading Program. Toyota Financial Services, The Gazette, Culver's Frozen Custard and Butter Burgers, and Bloomsbury Farm have teamed up with the Cedar and Kernels, encouraging children to read during the summer. For every 250 minutes a child reads, they will receive a reward to be claimed at the Ben Ritter Diamond Shop at Veterans Memorial Stadium. For every child that reaches 1,000 minutes, they will be invited to the Kernels Reader Recognition Day, Sunday, August 27th. They will receive the autographs of Kernel players on the field. Encourage your child to start reading today, helping them reach their goals for the summer.
Next up, a musical taste of Dr. Pepper. It's a new spin on an old vibe. From me to you, a tasty sip of Dr. Pepper for your ears, and it starts like this.
I'm a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper, we're a pepper, wouldn't you like to be a pepper?
Now that's cool, but pepper is a little better. So let's slide in a taste of this.
I'm a pepper, a pepper,
right on. But there's still more to it. I mean, there's nothing like it, because every sip is a kick and mash up of 23 different flavors. So for the true taste of Dr. Pepper, we dial it up even more. You know it. With 23 flavors mixed into one bold taste, every sip is a cool mix of music to your mouth. Dr. Pepper, there's more to it.
First pitch from right-hander Stevie Delabar is up and in to Anderson Rosario. We're underway in the top of the fifth inning. Kernels lead the Wizards 1-0. Ball two inside to the Kernel number 9 hitter. All right, we promised you a chance to earn yourself a pair of tickets to the Classic at Bruce Moore's production of The Fantastics and a Bruce Moore souvenir book. We have it for you here in the top of the fifth inning. There's a pitch drilled down the left field line. Over to get it is Will Venable, and he... John Rogers here in Fort Wayne, and we hope we're on the air. Not sure, so we'll keep broadcasting, hoping that we're on the air. In fact, we'll ask someone in Cedar Rapids, Jack Rader or Rick Sellers, Rick Sampson, whoever called here in Fort Wayne, we need you to call, we need you to email me at john@kernels.com and let us know if we're back on the air. We just don't know if we're back on the air. We got an emergency call, and I'll go into my email and see if Jack Rader, Rick Sellers, Rick Sampson, whoever called the Fort Wayne front office to let us know we were off the air, if they could call or email me and let me know if we're on the air. We'll assume we're on the air, and there are 2 out here in the 6th inning. Have no idea how long we've been off the air. No way of telling that. Don't know why we're off the air or how we got off the air. But let's assume that we're back on the air, and if Rick Sellers, Jack Rader, or someone in the loop of communication who called this ballpark to tell us we were off the air, if they could email me. Here's a looper off the fifth into right center, a base hit by Kyle Blanks. It's the first base runner for the Wizards since Javis Diaz reached on a fielder's choice back in the 3rd inning. We're in the bottom of the 6th. It's 1-0 Kernels. And again, we're hoping against hope that we're on the air. But we have no way of knowing unless Jack Rader or someone who called the Wizard front office to let us know we were off the air, if they will email me at john@kernels.com, we will try to ascertain whether we're back on the air or not. Well, it sounds like here we are, but we have no way of knowing for sure. 1 on, tying run, 2 out, bottom of the 6th inning, 1-0 Kernels. And a strike call to Nick Hundley. 11 in a row were retired by Stephen Merrick before Kyle Blanks fisted a base hit into right center field with 2 out here in the 6th inning, 1-0 Kernels. And again, we hope that we're on the air. We don't have a human being back in the studio to let us know that. That's the way it works with new technology. No way for the broadcaster to know if he's off the air other than a phone call, and thankfully a phone call from Cedar Rapids. We don't know who called, but we know that they called to tell us we were off the air. Now we ask that person, all right, we just have an email from Lanny Peterson indicating we are on the air. Lanny, thank you so much. Lanny Peterson indicating we are on the air. 0-2 to Nick Hundley and a pitch high. Well, we were going to give you a look at the State Farm Major League scoreboard, but there won't be time for that. We are, in a few minutes, going to say hello to a special friend of Sydney and Deborah Nash's, and that is Grace. We'll get to Grace in just a moment. It's 1-2 to the batter. Look out! Stephen Merrick drills Nick Hundley in the left bicep. Oh, and now the Wizards have the tying run at second. 2 gone here in the 6th inning. 1-0 Kernels. Again, we apologize. We apologize to our listeners. We don't know why we were off the air, but we do thank Lanny Peterson for emailing us, letting us know that we're back on the air. Lanny, thank you so much. Lanny Peterson, thank you very much for letting us know we're back on the air. Kernan Ronan is going to have a heart-to-heart conversation with Stephen Merrick. It's sponsored by Mercy Medical Center. You owe it to yourself and the people who love you to find out what your risk of heart disease is with a $35 heart-to-heart screening from Mercy Medical Center. It's quick, easy, and convenient, and it could save your life. To schedule a Mercy Medical Center heart-to-heart screening, call Mercy Medical Center 398-6821. Kernan Ronan has completed his heart-to-heart conversation with starter Stephen Merrick. First and second, 2 out. Daryl Jones 0 for 2 tonight at the plate. And we're going to lift Grace's, right there, Grace is fine. Grace, how old are you?
I'm 17.
Old enough to be responsible for 2 great kids, Sydney and Deborah.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure glad that the Nash has invited you to watch this game tonight, along with 4,898. Daryl Jones takes a curve low for ball 1. Action in both bullpens. Grace is with us, and Grace, you grew up here in Fort Wayne.
Yes, I did.
Are you a senior in high school now?
I'm a junior.
A junior, okay. Babysitting can be pretty lucrative, can it?
Yes, sometimes.
Not like the days of $2.35 an hour.
Oh.
That's what the going rate was when I was a kid. Well, Grace, it takes a lot of responsibility, and the term babysitter really is unjust. Very rarely are you sitting with a baby, are you?
No, I'm not. Never anymore.
You're educating, entertaining, and looking over young kids. Here's a swing and a tip foul, and Darryl Jones is in the hole 1 and 2. What do you like most about being with Sydney and Deborah?
They like to play a lot, and that's what I like to do. I don't like it when they just sit and watch TV.
No.
It's not very fun.
Watching videos is boring, and it's not very educational in some cases. First and second, 2 out. Bottom of the 6th inning, 2-1 Kernels here in Fort Wayne. Stephen Merrick steps off the rubber, and Darryl Jones steps out. Well, Grace, what college do you think you might want to go to?
I'd like to go to Michigan State University.
Great. In the state capital.
Yes.
Oh, ball 2. Stephen Merrick couldn't believe the call by DeAndre Anderson. That pitch looked over. Ooh, brother, they called it ball 2, and now 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on. Darryl Jones ready for the next one. Ball 3 low. I'll be darned. The Kernels thought we had Darryl Jones struck out. But the plate umpire, DeAndre Anderson, called that 2-2 pitch low. Or I don't know where he called it. He called it ball 2 and now ball 3. Now the runners will be going. This big crowd of 4,898 is cheering wildly. The payoff pitch to Darryl Jones. Swing and a miss on a high fastball. Darryl Jones chases ball 4, swings and misses. Stephen Merrick turns aside a big 2-out scoring threat by the Wizards and strikes out Darryl Jones to end Fort Wayne's 6th inning. Oh, has Stephen Merrick been dynamite tonight. Merrick with 6 shutout innings, no runs for the Wizards in the 6th inning. 1 hit, a hit batter. There were no Kernel errors. The Wizards leave a pair. They've stranded 6. This game goes. We have the leeway to keep it right here for just a little bit as we go to the top of the 7th. Grace, it kind of feels like some rain may be trying to move in. Do you feel that breeze?
Yes, I do. It's kind of raining outside.
Oh, it is raining?
Yeah.
Very lightly?
Yeah.
Grace, what do you want to study at Michigan State?
Broadcasting journalism.
You've been holding out on us this whole night? Grace, I ought to just... Oh, my goodness. Sydney, did you know that Grace wants to study the very topic that we're doing here tonight? Well, Grace, how much experience? Have you done an internship at all?
No.
What has spawned your interest in broadcast journalism?
A while back, I actually did something with my friend, and it seemed pretty cool. And
was it radio or television?
I think it was television. It was
wow.
on for school.
6 pitches, 1 run. No earned runs. 2 base on balls, 5 strikeouts. There's 26 batters and 288 pitches.
Well, we have a new pitcher we'll tell you about in a moment. Grace, you must have done some research into Michigan State. They must have a good broadcast journalism school.
Well, sort of. I mean, it's a university, so it has some stuff on it.
It's a Big Ten school.
It is.
Well, Grace, I sure hope that you reach your dream of going to Michigan State and also studying broadcast journalism. How far is Lansing, Michigan from Fort Wayne, Indiana?
I do not know. Not sure.
Do you think it's about a 3-hour drive?
I think so, but I'm planning on moving to Grand Rapids. So.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Well, I know that the kids that you help, and I use the term babysitter lightly because I say you don't babysit anybody. In fact, babysitting, so-called being a caretaker or a nanny or a child responsibility person, it takes a lot of energy. Are you asked to cook meals?
Sometimes, yes.
What do you...
Yes. They have a favorite.
What is it?
It's top ramen noodles.
Pardon?
Top ramen noodles.
Okay.
They love that stuff.
Well, that sounds tasty.
Yeah. Well, yes, I burn other meals
Kids they'll never hold back the truth, will they, Grace?
No, of course not. And I wouldn't want it any other way.
That's right. Brandon Higlin, a lefty, has come on in relief for Fort Wayne. Well, Grace, I know you were a little bit shy to join us, but we're glad you did. You're a delightful young 17-year-old. Anderson Rosario ropes one into shallow center, and it's dropped at the shoe tops by Javis Diaz. Anderson Rosario greets lefty Brandon Higlin with a sinking line drive base hit into center. 1 on, nobody out for the Kernels here in the top of the 7th inning. Well, Grace, besides helping out families by watching over their children, what else do you have planned for this summer?
I plan on hanging out with my friends a lot. Yes. And I like to shoot some pictures during the summer.
Oh, you like this photography?
Yes, I do.
Well, that's neat. Do you have a digital camera?
Actually, I'm planning on getting one this weekend. So
that's super. They can run anywhere from $100 to several thousand.
Oh, yeah. Yes, they do.
What model?
I plan on getting about maybe $300 worth.
Good. Well, that's a great hobby. Brandon Higlin, a lefty, is taken over on the hill here in the 7th. 1-0 Kernels. Anderson Rosario, with his second straight hit, is aboard at first. Brad Coons at the plate. Stevie Delabar pitched 6 innings for the Wizards in his 14th start of the year, allowed 1 run. It was unearned on 6 hits. Delabar struck out 5 Kernels, walked a pair. Coon bunts, and Higlin's only play is to pick it up and throw to first. Out on a bang-bang play. Eric Owens can't believe it. Oh, Brandon Higlin took forever to get rid of that bunt, and I thought, as Eric Owens did, that Coon beat it out. He's thrown out pitcher to first. 1-3, and Anderson Rosario is in scoring position with 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. Brandon Higlin 1-3 on the year. This is his 29th appearance. A 2.65 ERA. Higlin's pitched 37 1/3 innings, giving up just 30 hits. The lefty has struck out 38, walked 12 in the league, hitting .219 against lefty Brandon Higlin. Here's Hundley Stacia batting right-handed. He whistles one underneath the legs of the third baseman down the left field line. Holding at third is the lead runner, Anderson Rosario. That error is on Seth Johnston. Seth Johnston has committed an error. A hard-hit grounder goes right through Johnston's legs into left field. Anderson Rosario had to hold at third. He had no choice because he was retreating back towards the bag, thinking that the third baseman would field it and throw out Hundley Stacia. Hundley reaches on the third error committed by the Wizards tonight, and out comes Tom Bradley, the Fort Wayne pitching coach. Grace, we're going to have you give us an update. How hard is it raining?
It's not raining that hard. It's just kind of, they're all getting their umbrellas out.
Okay. Tom?
It's really windy.
Yes, it is. The wind has picked up markedly. It's blowing from the left field foul pole to the right field foul pole. And it has started raining. Some of the fans, Grace, are heading for cover, but most of them that are staying know it's a light rain, and some of them have brought umbrellas. Well, the Summit here in the Summit City is broken up on the mound. Larry Infante will have the tough chore of facing left-hander Brandon Higlin with runners at the corners, 1 out. Here in the, now more fans are heading for cover. Grace, it must be raining harder now.
Yes, it is. Lots more fans are running.
Brandon Higlin, a 23-year-old lefty, misses inside, ball 1 to Larry Infante. Higlin is from Cal State Los Angeles. He's pitching with runners at first and third, 1 out here in the Kernel 7th inning. Now, wait a minute. They put the tarp on. We are going to have a delay in the action. The umpires have asked for the tarp to be put on. And, Grace, if you could, don't lower the window all the way down, but almost to the thermometer. Thank you, Grace. That window's being awfully uncooperative. Well, we may call upon Grace and Fred Nash to help us with this rain delay. Right now, though, we can tell you the Kernels lead at 1-0 in the top of the 7th inning. It's raining pretty hard now. And we promised you before we found out that we were knocked off the air for some reason, we promised you a look at the State Farm Major League scoreboard. And we're going to give it to you right now with the Kernels having runners at first and third, one out, top of the seventh, leading 1-0. State Farm Insurance agents Brad Dunn, Al Shetler, Dale Thompson, and Gary Schubat bring us our first look tonight at the State Farm Major League scoreboard as the tarp is being put on here at Memorial Stadium, where the Kernels lead it in the seventh, 1-0. State Farm Major League scoreboard, a rematch of the 1968 World Series. That was at Tiger Stadium between the Cardinals, or at Busch Stadium and Tiger Stadium between the Cardinals and Redbirds. They're playing at Comerica Park tonight. In the top of the sixth inning, the Tigers lead the Cardinals 7-3. They're in the bottom of the second inning at Fenway Park, and the Red Sox are shelling the Phillies 5-0. State Farm Major League scoreboard, the Battle of the Buckeye State unfolding at Jacobs Field in Cleveland. They're in the bottom of the fifth inning, and the Reds lead the Tribe 3-0. Bottom of the fourth inning at Yankee Stadium, the Marlins are trailing the Yankees. It's 6-3 Yankees. They're in the bottom of the fifth inning in the Bronx. Top of the seventh inning in the Beltway bragging rights series, Baltimore's hosting the Nationals, and at Camden Yards, the Orioles lead Washington 2-0, top of the seventh inning. The Mets are playing at Rogers Center in Toronto, and the Mets are leading the Blue Jays 5-1 in the bottom of the sixth inning. The Braves and Devil Rays are tangling down at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg. It's Atlanta 2, Tampa Bay 2, top of the sixth inning. The Brewers are ahead of the Royals 3-1. Check that. Yes, 3-1 Milwaukee, bottom of the second inning at Kauffman Stadium. At the Metrodome, the Twins lead the Cubs 2-1. That's in the bottom of the third inning. Just underway, bottom of the first, the Astros and White Sox in a rematch of last fall's World Series. No score at U.S. Cellular Field, bottom of the first inning. Later tonight at Coors Field in Denver, the Rangers will take on the Rockies. And also later tonight on the State Farm Major League scoreboard, it'll be our parent club, the Angels, playing at Chase Ballpark in Phoenix against the Diamondbacks. San Diego, the parent club of our opponents this weekend, the Fort Wayne Wizards. The Padres will host Seattle later tonight at Safeco Field. And a rivalry in the Bay, the Athletics will take on the Giants at AT&T Ballpark. The only non-interleague game will have the Pirates and the Dodgers playing later tonight at Chavez Ravine. Well, it's raining pretty hard here, and Grace, with the Kernels leading 1-0, I wanted to ask you a little bit more as a young person, 17 years old. We've gotten the perspective of Fred Nash, a wonderful kaleidoscope of information about history and what makes Fort Wayne great. As a 17-year-old, are there plenty of... Well, Sydney is letting everyone know, and I'm glad she has, that the rain is coming in, so we're going to batten down the hatches here so that our equipment doesn't short-circuit on us, including the crowd mic. We're trying to get that in, and the temperature thermometer. That's in as well. And now that rain, which is still trying to penetrate the windows here, is still trying to sneak through. There we go, Grace. Thank you. Oh, brother. 1-0 Kernels here in the top of the seventh, and a rain delay. Grace, for a 17-year-old, a lot of teenagers say that life in the modern day is, quote, boring. I know you don't feel that way. But what things do you enjoy doing in Fort Wayne?
I like to go to the library, actually.
You're a reader.
Yes, I love reading.
Well, that is so refreshing to hear a high school junior say that. What topics interest you? Romance novels, history, fiction?
Fiction, mostly novels as far as...
Novels? Do you try to read, how often?
I like to read a book a day, normally, if I can.
A book a day?
They're small novels.
But Grace, that's tremendous. So your knowledge of vocabulary, spelling, I bet you're too humble to say, have you taken your SAT or ACT yet?
I have taken my SAT.
Okay, I'm going to guess you're above 1,100.
Just around there, actually.
Grace, that's fantastic. Congratulations. A 17-year-old girl who reads a book a day. Do your parents like that more than you watching television?
Yes, they do. They like to encourage me in reading.
And you get to pick out your own books from the library?
Depending on what season it is. My mom does book reading.
Oh, she'll share with you?
Well, she'll tell me which ones to read.
She gives you an idea?
Yeah.
Well, that is so neat. Now, where does she get her recommendations from? The New York Times? Does she log on to a website? Does she talk to other adults who steer her to good books?
I think she has a homeschool group that she goes to and figures out which one.
That's another great topic, homeschooling. It's big in eastern Iowa. And have you experienced homeschooling?
Yes, I've been homeschooled for all my years of school.
Oh, Grace, that is wonderful. We're going to hear about that in just a moment. Right now, we want to remind you that you're enjoying Kernel baseball from Fort Wayne on 1450 KMRY Cedar Rapids. The Kernels hold a 1-0 lead over the Wizards. It's raining hard, and most of the crowd is headed for cover. We're supposed to have fireworks after the ball game tonight, and I can assure you that Mike Nutter, the general manager here, will keep the umpiring crew of DeAndre Anderson and Kellen Levy fully apprised of how long a delay we can expect and what the conditions will hold. Stephen Merrick has spun 6 shutout innings at the Wizards, and the Kernels are trying to even this series at a game apiece with Fort Wayne after losing a tough 12-inning 3-2 contest last night to start the second half. Grace is our guest. She helps our family that's been so kind to myself during our visit here in Fort Wayne. Fred Nash and his wife Kathy, his daughter Sydney, and his son Dever. And Grace, homeschooling used to be a controversial topic because people would say, well, the kid might not be socially adjusted, or what if the kid's mom and dad aren't trained as professional educators? The kid is going to fall behind. Do you realize that homeschool kids on average do way better in the classroom? And this isn't a rap on public schools or private schools. It's just that you get one-on-one attention. I think that's one of the reasons. But homeschool kids outperform in every context.
I believe that's true. And homeschooling was the first school they had. So
that's true. When Laura Ingalls Wilder, The Little House on the Prairie, Sydney says she's read those. I think she was homeschooled. Grace, do you know what is a typical day for a homeschool kid? Because some people have the impression that you just study for a couple of hours a day and then lounge around and that it's an easy go of it. It is not easy, is it?
No, it's not, actually. My mom keeps us to a strict schedule of many hours of work and reading, and then we do other things. We have classes outside of home.
Sure, which helps with the socialization.
Yes, it does.
You're not a hermit. You're not an island of your own. What sorts of things does your mom, is she well-versed in all subjects? Like, can she teach you college-level algebra or trigonometry, or do you get that outside the home?
Normally algebra, I get that outside of home, but she's very good at certain topics. Science, she's excellent at. I love hearing about the stuff she has to tell me. And although she never went to college herself, she learned a lot through my older sisters who are also homeschooled.
Wow. So your mom homeschools. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 3 other sisters.
3 sisters?
Yes.
Are they in college?
No, they haven't. I'd be the first one to go to college.
Well, Grace, that is quite a story of fortitude. Now, how structured is homeschool? Do you study Monday through Friday? Is the classroom the kitchen? Is it the den? Is it the library? Where is it in the home?
Well, it's in the home. Basically, we do it in the dining room. It's where we keep our books. But, it's also in our backyard. It's everywhere we can discover new things, and that's what all homeschooling is about.
How about your mom's teaching style? Does she lecture to you? Does she quiz you? Does she give formal tests? How does she evaluate your progress?
She does formal tests.
Wow. Are they pretty tough?
No, they're hard. They're very hard, but they're not difficult to do after you learn how to do that.
If you're prepared.
Yeah.
You bet. How about a foreign language? How does a high school kid being homeschooled learn a foreign language?
Well, there was a Latin teacher that went to college, and she provided classes to homeschoolers in our area, so I'm going to go to my second year of Latin.
So you're taking Latin.
Yes, hopefully to major in. I've taken 2 years of Spanish and tried to learn Japanese as much as I could, but that's a very difficult language.
Latin is hard, isn't it?
Yes.
It's the classic language, and is it a lot of rote memorization?
No, it's mostly, I mean, you have to learn how to say it, but most people think it's dead, but it's in every single language.
Latin's in every single language?
Yes, the root words are everywhere.
Ah, that is fascinating. We're visiting with Grace. She's a friend of ours because Fred and Kathy Nash are natives of Fort Wayne, and they are really, in essence, related to me. My cousin Bill Anschutz married Kathy's sister, and Bill hooked us up here in Fort Wayne, and we're in a rain delay here at Memorial Stadium. Grace, I'll tell you what I'm going to have you do if you don't mind. Would you please go down to the end of the hall, that second door from the end, and pop in and ask if anybody knows what the forecast is for the rest of the night, if the rain's going to stop, or what our prognosis... Oh, you bet, Sydney, you sure can. Sydney's going to go with Grace to check on the weather. We're going to tell you that the Kernels lead this game in the top of the 7th inning, 1-0. The rains came at 8:52 Eastern Time, 7:52 Eastern Iowa time. The tarp is on the field, and Stephen Merrick has pitched brilliantly. What else? Nothing, no surprise there. Merrick, a 7-1 record with the 5th lowest ERA in the league at 2.29. Let me double check on that. Yes, Stephen with the 5th lowest ERA in the league at 2.29. And he and the Kernels in the top of the 7th lead Fort Wayne 1-0. The Kernels have runners at first and third with one out. And Sydney, I think we'll have you give the report from the radar. 7-year-old Sydney Nash is going to tell us what the weather people said, Sydney.
We're supposed to have it for like another 20 more minutes.
Well, that's not too bad, is it? A minimum of...
Yeah, a minimum.
Okay.
They said something about 2 hours. What is this?
They waited.
Oh, we'll wait at least 2 hours. Okay.
We'll wait at least 2 hours.
We'll wait at least 2 hours. Yes, that's going to be past your bedtime, even on a summer weekend. Sydney, you very much wanted Grace to join us on the air. You love Grace, don't you? She's a very, very smart young woman.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know she was homeschooled?
Yeah.
Did you know she reads a novel a day?
No.
Isn't that something? And you love reading too, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Sydney, I sure have enjoyed my trip to Fort Wayne. Now, you're going to your grandparents' lake or pond this weekend?
Lake.
And that's where you learn to water ski?
Yes.
Is water skiing hard to learn?
Depends on how you learn it.
You fall down a few times, don't you?
Yeah.
It's way different from jet skiing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does your grandfather have a speedboat, or what kind of boat is it?
He has a speedboat and a pontoon.
And a pontoon?
Yeah.
And you're pretty comfortable in the lake?
Yeah.
Do you ever see any animals?
Yeah, there's 2 swans, and one's named Sam. He chases after, what is he after? He chases after jet skis.
Oh.
He's so protective of his family, and he has a wife.
Oh, cool. And what's his name again?
Sam.
Okay. Do you ever see any turtles or fish?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, you do see fish, though, a lot.
Do you ever fish?
Well, actually, you do see turtles in the mill ponds.
Do you ever fish at your grandparents' lake?
Yeah, I fish with Kevin.
What kind do you catch?
Well, we've never really caught any.
Okay, but that's why they call it fishing.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if you're going to catch any. Well, Sydney, you've been out of school for, what, about 3 weeks now?
Maybe.
Yeah. You go to Montessori school?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's a different way of learning. Could you describe to our listeners, as best a 7-year-old can, what Montessori school is?
Well, you use a lot of more materials than other schools, and you get to take care of animals like goats.
Really? You've gotten to take care of a real goat?
Oh, yeah, we had 4.
You have 4 goats?
Yeah, but 2 died. 2 died in our class. 2 died at school, and then the other 2 are going to Sawman Farm this year.
Wow. Well, Sydney, that is fascinating. What do goats like to eat?
Well, they eat grass, and then we give them hay.
Grass and hay. Well, that's really neat. Now, do they eat as much as a horse does?
Well, classes take turns feeding them. They just got too much, so now they're going to Solomon.
Are they pretty friendly to you?
Yeah. Monty sometimes chewed on Megan's dress since it has flowers on it sometimes.
Oh, he got mixed up and thought it was real flowers.
Yeah.
Well, that's neat. Do the goats sleep at all, or are they always up on their feet?
Well, they sleep.
Yeah. Well, that's really neat that you take care of the goats at Montessori School. And you had an accident when you were 5 years old on the playground on the park across the street from your house. What happened?
Well, I fell off. Well, I didn't really fall because I was jumping to grab something, and then my wrist got hit really hard on plastic.
Oh, yeah.
Real hard plastic.
And at first, they didn't think anything was wrong.
Well, no. At first, I could not turn my wrist. So then they went to the emergency room. Well, so then they went to the doctor, and we got an X-ray, and they showed that it was broken.
And you got a cast, didn't you?
Yeah, not right away. For the first, week, I had to wear this spring.
Okay.
And then I got a cast. Well, no, maybe it was for, 3 days. Not a week.
Sydney, what have you had to eat tonight at the ball game?
Cotton candy and ice cream.
Oh, wow. Those are two great things for kids. Cotton candy and ice cream. We're visiting with 7-year-old Sydney Nash here at Memorial Stadium in Fort Wayne. We're under a rain delay. This game was halted about 19 minutes ago due to a hard downpour. The rain has subsided somewhat. It's still coming down steadily, but not a downpour, not a torrential drenching. Sydney, I'm going to have you hand it off to your father, Fred, for a moment. And I'm sorry, Sydney, go ahead.
Some people are coming down.
Sure, they're starting to filter back in, aren't they? Well, Sydney Nash, thank you so much. Fred Nash is back with us, and Fred has been with us the last 2 evenings. And Fred, this ballpark will hold the water very well. It drains well, and the report we got from down press row is that the rain's supposed to last anywhere from 20 minutes or longer.
Yeah, but there was someone who just popped in here while you were interviewing Sydney who said they're really going to try and play it out this evening and have the fireworks, and they're great with the squeegee and with the tarps, and they think it'll be no problem to get going as soon as they can.
Well, that's good news. Fred Nash is with us. He's told us a lot about this great community of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Fred, I know one thing we didn't have a chance to talk about was an unusual exhibit in downtown Fort Wayne. In our hometown, we took the world-famous Grant Wood painting, American Gothic, with the farmer and his wife. Many things have been written about it, and it's world-famous. It's displayed in the Chicago Art Museum. Are you familiar with American Gothic?
Oh, sure. That's a great painting.
Yes, it's been a subject of parodies, and a lot of art critics have written about its deep hidden meaning or its significance, and I'm reading a couple of books about it. And you had a similar exhibit in downtown Fort Wayne, not of American Gothic statues, but of something unique to this area.
Yes, John, that's right. We had the Mastodons on parade. There were, I believe, 77 fiberglass Mastodons. They were decorated by local artists and sponsored by local businesses. They had a huge exhibit of them downtown at Headwaters Park for a week, and then they were scattered throughout Fort Wayne, and people could go on a scavenger hunt. They found the locations of all the Mastodons. They were entered in a drawing to go to Disney World.
Fred, what is a mastodon?
Well, a mastodon is what most folks would think of as being like a prehistoric elephant.
Oh.
They were large, they had big tusks, and they found several in this area a few years ago, the fossil remnants of them.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
Yes, and the mastodons are the mascot of the local university, Indiana Purdue Fort Wayne.
And we have a big following of Iowa Hawkeye fans in eastern Iowa. They follow the Big Ten, and excuse me, the former Olympian and Bobby Knight guard Steve Alford has coached the Iowa Hawkeye men's basketball team the last 8 years, I believe. He just signed a contract extension. That Indiana University Purdue at Fort Wayne basketball program is Division I, and they have a very unique situation with their head coach.
Yes, John, they do. They've got the new boy wonder coach. I think Steve Alford was the boy wonder a few years ago when he started, but Dane Fife is the coach here in Fort Wayne. He's 25. He was the youngest Division I coach last season. I imagine he'll be the youngest Division I coach again next year. And folks here are very excited to have a Bobby Knight protege leading the Mastodons. They had a very good season this year by their standards. They upped their wins to, I believe, 9, so they were like 9-21, and they're hoping to have a winning season next year.
Fred Nash is talking about Fort Wayne. It's raining a little bit harder now at Memorial Stadium, where the Kernels have runners at first and third and one out, batting in the top of the 7th. But when the rain's called, shut the action down momentarily. And Fred, Indiana University Purdue at Fort Wayne is a Division I program. They have other sports as well, including, I think, a pretty highly acclaimed men's volleyball program.
They have an excellent men's volleyball program. It's been one of the top-ranked programs in the country for a number of years now, and they made it to the finals of the NCAA tournament this year, not to the championship game, but they made it to the semifinal round, and that was very successful. It's interesting for us to be in a state that is so basketball crazy and have the leading sport at the local university be volleyball, but they get a lot of great fan support here locally.
Well, that is ironic. Fred, you need to... Pardon, Sydney? Okay, Sydney's reporting that some folks are heading out, but I know, as you said, Fred, they're going to do everything possible to resume this game. I have to ask you, as a guest, whether you need to start thinking about heading out yourself with Grace and the kids, or whether you have a few more minutes to chat with our listeners. Fred, what's your gut feel?
John, we have a couple more minutes we can stay and chat for sure, and then we're going to have to think about getting our 4-year-old home for bedtime.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what, Dever's been just a delightful kid. He's just been a soldier and an angel here the last 2 nights. Fred, I know our listeners know where Fort Wayne is roughly. It's in northeast Indiana. How far are you from the following major cities? Detroit, Chicago, and Indianapolis.
We're about 3 hours from Chicago. We can get from our front door to downtown in the Loop in Chicago in 3 hours. It's about an hour and a half, a little more, to Indianapolis. And it's a little over 3 hours to Detroit. Fort Wayne's very centrally located in that regard, with a number of major markets within easy driving distance. And so one of the things that folks have been looking to do here in terms of economic development is actually to start to develop a lot of distribution facilities and logistics facilities, since we are at the intersection of 2 major interstate highways and also a rail hub.
Well, that figures. I know Dever's getting a little bit antsy, and that we'll have to keep an eye on him. Fred Nash is filling us in on this great community, 240,000 of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Dever, does Dever want you to read to him?
He does. We've been reading a book called, this is a VeggieTales book. It's called Larry Boy and the Yodel Napper.
Oh.
And we've made it all the way up to almost the very last chapter when the bad guy is captured by Larry Boy. So Dever's a little excited to hear what happens at the very end.
Well, listen, we'll ask you one more question and then let you get back to the number one priority, which is parenting this great kid, Dever. As far as baseball allegiances go in Fort Wayne, it's interesting, Fred, because in eastern Iowa, I call it a melting pot of big league fans. By and large, the majority of people in Cedar Rapids, a lot of them are Cub fans. However, we have a great share of Twin, Cardinal, Royal, White Sox, and because we were a Cincinnati Red affiliate for so many years, some Red fans, a few Brewer fans sprinkled in, and then fellas in their 50s and 60s. Believe it or not, we have quite a few Yankee fans in eastern Iowa. Where does Fort Wayne stand in terms of big league allegiances?
John, that's a good question. I would say that the number one team, of course, would be the Cubs, and, probably followed behind that by the White Sox and the Reds, and, a little less fan support for the Tigers, and then all the other sort of Midwestern clubs that you mentioned, the Cardinals and the Brewers and the other folks, and then, God love them. They're Yankees fans all over the place. So.
Fred, it sounds like that this is Cub territory then.
I would say that's the number one team.
If Kerry Wood or Mark Pryor, and both of their careers, especially Kerry's, now in jeopardy with yet another setback, if either of them were to make rehabilitation starts here in Fort Wayne, what would the crowds be at here at Memorial Stadium?
Oh, it'd be great. It'd be standing room only.
Wow.
I would love to see that.
That is something.
All right, John, I can see that glassy look in Deborah's eye. He's ready to go home.
Yes,
he's hear the end of this book and call it a night.
Such a good fellow, 4-year-old Dever Nash. Fred Nash, this is a friendship that started at a relative's wedding, and we really appreciate you the last 2 nights clearing the deck on your schedule to bring your delightful daughter Sydney and your cute little son Dever, and tonight Grace, last night your wife Kathy. Fred, thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
It's been a lot of fun here in Fort Wayne. Thanks.
This has been a great experience for our kids. Sydney chose to stay here in town and watch the game and come up to the press box over going to Suzuki Violin Camp this week.
Oh, my goodness, Fred.
So that's exciting, and my 40th birthday is tomorrow, so this was an early present to be here this evening.
Happy birthday. I know tomorrow that Sydney's going to give you a present that she constructed with her own hands at art camp, and what did Dever give you this afternoon?
Dever gave me some wonderful handmade, artistically created and decorated binoculars that he made at Vacation Bible School this week. Wow. Yes, and they were wonderful. I should have brought them out to the ballpark tonight to try them out.
You can use them tomorrow on your birthday.
Definitely. It was a great birthday present. He also has another surprising birthday present that he's not talking about very much, but he read his very first book this week. He's been working hard on it.
Dever, a 4-year-old
birthday present. Yep.
Wow, Dever, that's wonderful.
But we can't really talk about it because it's still a surprise.
Okay,
yeah. We're very proud of it.
Well, sure you are. Well, you finish up this book with him, and Fred, thank you so much.
Thanks, John.
Fred Nash, a Carleton College graduate. I coached and taught at Carleton for 6 years, and it's great to make that Carleton connection with family and friends here in Fort Wayne. Fred, thank you for leaving your address with us, and we'll look forward to seeing you next year, if not before, here at Memorial Stadium. Well, the rain has lightened up some, and we're here broadcasting on 1450 KMRY Cedar Rapids. We're going to keep it right here for as long as we can, and they used to call this rain delay theater. And we use the time in this case to talk to you about a number of topics. And one thing that we better highlight right now, we've been talking about it the first 2 games in this series. We'd like you to make plans to attend the 4th annual Freedom from Hunger Night at the ballpark. That's on Thursday, June 29th. That'll help the Kernels strike out hunger in our community. Beginning Thursday, June 29th through Sunday, July 2nd, a vintage Army troop transport vehicle will be parked outside the stadium to receive your donations of non-perishable food items. Our challenge is to fill that Army troop transport truck with food to help area food assistance programs feed the hungry in our community. Meet us at the stadium on Thursday, June 29th, and bring along a non-perishable food item. With that donation, you'll be eligible to enter a drawing for a prize package to be given away on Freedom from Hunger Night at the ballpark. Join the Kernels in helping our community enjoy freedom from hunger. That's Thursday night, June 29th. We'll take your donations through Sunday, July 2nd. We're going to hear from some of our great advertisers here in just a moment, and that'll give me a chance to say a formal goodbye to Sydney, Dever, Grace, and Fred here from the press box. We're having a rain delay here at Memorial Stadium, and I think we're going to try to get a picture of the 2 kids and myself. Boy, have they been fun. They've made the trip so enjoyable here this first 2 days of the 4-game series, and I think we might have gotten a couple of neat digital pictures taken by Fred. We'll be back with some more during this rain delay from Fort Wayne. We're in the top of the 7th inning, and the Kernels have runners at first and third with 1 out and lead the ball game 1-0. Back with more from Memorial Stadium here on the Kernel Radio Network in just a minute.
Hi, I'm Phil Andrews, your local Pekin Insurance agent at Andrews Insurance here in Cedar Rapids. Even though we all do our best to stay healthy, we can never anticipate when an illness or accident might strike. Couple that reality with rising medical costs, and the importance of a top-notch medical plan becomes clear. Pekin Insurance offers a wide choice of deductibles and a non-tobacco user discount. To explore the major medical insurance plan that best fits you, visit me, Phil Andrews, at Andrews Insurance.
Hi, this is Dave Town with Five Seasons Transportation and Parking. Do you ever wonder if it's safe to send your child on the bus? It is, and here's a few reasons why. All the buses in Cedar Rapids are equipped with security cameras, so the drivers always know what's happening behind them. The buses also have global positioning systems, or GPS, which means they can be tracked at any time by satellite. Does that surprise you? It shouldn't. Five Seasons Transportation takes safety very seriously, and we've taken many steps to make sure your child will have a safe, easy ride every time they take the bus. Even when your child isn't on the bus, Five Seasons Transportation is helping keep them safe by using pollution-free biodiesel and alcohol fuels, Iowa products that help keep the air clean. And if your child is ever in trouble, they can always flag down a bus for help. I'm Dave Town, and I like to think of the bus as a traveling safety cocoon, motoring along Cedar Rapids streets. And keep in mind, if the bus is that safe and easy for your child, maybe you should think about riding the bus to work. Affordable, convenient, and safe. That's the bus. Ride it.
We're back at Memorial Stadium here in Fort Wayne, and the game being delayed by rain. I'm bidding a fond farewell to the Nash family and Grace. They were just great to come up the last two nights and visit with us about Fort Wayne. The Kernels lead the Wizards 1-0, and we're in the top of the seventh inning here at Memorial Stadium. And since we were knocked off the air a little bit earlier, I'd like to invite you one more time, in case you missed it, to participate in our Bruce Moore Bonanza. It's a chance, thanks to Bruce Moore, for you to earn 2 tickets to the Classics at Bruce Moore's performance of the Fantastics and a Bruce Moore souvenir book. And again, I was notified by someone in Cedar Rapids that called Fort Wayne and said, hey, you've got a problem. You're not on the air right now, and I have a feeling that might have meant that you missed our Bruce Moore Bonanza question, and we open it up to any and everyone tonight. If you've won our Bruce Moore Bonanza already this season, that's all right. You can participate tonight. You'll find the answer to this Bruce Moore Bonanza question on the Bruce Moore website, www.brucemore.org. BRUCEMORE.org. That's where you'll find the answer to the Bruce Moore Bonanza. And when you find the answer, email it to me along with your name, address, and phone number here in Fort Wayne to John, John, at Kernels, KERNELS.com. That's John, John, at Kernels, KERNELS.com. And you will be rewarded with 2 tickets to the Classics at Bruce Moore's performance of the Fantastics and a Bruce Moore souvenir book. Here's our Bruce Moore Bonanza question. Howard Hall took behind-the-scenes home movie footage of what famous movie in the 1930s? Howard Hall took behind-the-scenes home movie footage of what famous movie in the 1930s? That's our Bruce Moore Bonanza question here from Fort Wayne. I think we may have been off the air when we gave you that opportunity earlier to earn the 2 tickets to the Classics at Bruce Moore's performance of the Fantastics and a Bruce Moore souvenir book. So your chance right now to email me at John, John, at Kernels, KERNELS, and you'll find the answer to our Bruce Moore Bonanza question by logging on to the Bruce Moore website, www.brucemore.org, and you can email me your answer to the Bruce Moore Bonanza question, John at Kernels.com, John at Kernels, KERNELS.com. Whether you've won before or not is immaterial tonight during this rain delay. We'll take your emails right now for your chance to earn the 2 tickets to the Classics at Bruce Moore's performance of the Fantastics and a Bruce Moore souvenir book. One more time, the Bruce Moore Bonanza question. Howard Hall took behind-the-scenes home movie footage of what famous movie in the 1930s? The footage of that movie, by the way, that Howard Hall took behind-the-scenes home movie footage of can be seen in the permanent exhibit located in the Visitor Center at Bruce Moore. Again, you'll find the answer to the Bruce Moore Bonanza question by logging on to Bruce Moore's website, www.brucemore.org, and you can email me the answer to the Bruce Moore Bonanza question, John, John, at Kernels, KERNELS.com. It's 1-0 Kernels. We're enduring a rain delay here at Memorial Stadium. The tarp was put on about 40 minutes ago, and Stephen Merrick has spun 6 shutout innings for the Kernels in this contest. The Kernels trying to avenge a gut-wrenching 12-inning 3-2 loss last night in the series opener. And now that we have a few minutes during this rain delay, we want to tell you about some fantastic, some just very exciting family and business entertainment experiences coming your way at Veterans Memorial Stadium. We open up an 8-game homestand starting this Thursday, June 29th. We play the Dayton Dragons at 7 o'clock. And on the 29th, it's a Buck a Cup Thursday. And that means 12-ounce draft beer, 12-ounce sodas, and slushies are only $1 on Thursday, June 29th. The 7 o'clock start versus the Dayton Dragons. They're the Class A Midwest League affiliate of the Cincinnati Reds. And slushies, 12-ounce draft beer, and 12-ounce sodas are only $1 on Buck a Cup Thursday. That's this Thursday, June 29th. Then on Friday, a week from tonight, June 30th, the gates open at 6 for a 7 o'clock game against the Dayton Dragons. Iowa Office Supplies, that's iOS Office Solutions, cap giveaway. The first 1,000 of you Colonel fans, regardless of age or gender, will receive a baseball cap next Friday, June 30th. The Colonels against Dayton. Come early. The gates open at 6 for a 7 o'clock start. It's iOS Office Solutions hat night at the ballpark. Those caps are very, very desirable. You'll like the quality of them, and you'll wear them proudly thanks to iOS Office Solutions on Friday, June 30th. Then we open the month of July, the 4th of July weekend, with a bang. Literally, Saturday, July 1st, the Colonels host Dayton, a 7 o'clock start. The gates open at 6. It's Procter & Gamble Fireworks Night. And we have had such a positive and enthusiastic response to fireworks the last several years that we have a series, Saturday nights, fireworks at the ballpark. And this Saturday, July 1st, will usher in the 4th of July weekend and the month of July in a memorable way with Procter & Gamble fireworks following the Kernels and Dayton Dragons game on Saturday, July 1st. Then on Sunday, the 2nd of July, it's a family fun day at the ballpark. The game starts at 2 o'clock. The gates open at 1. The Kernels will be signing autographs from 1:20 until 1:40 on Sunday, July 2nd. Myron Noodleman will be entertaining. Popcorn's only $1, and you can run the bases after the game thanks to Velocity Sports Performance. Sunday, July 2nd, Myron Noodleman will be entertaining, and the Kernels play the Dayton Dragons. The first 500 of you Colonel fans to come into the gates on Sunday, July 2nd, wearing a Freedom Festival pin, will receive a backpack shaped like a jersey. It's a jersey backpack giveaway on Sunday, July 2nd, and those jersey backpacks will be presented to the first 500 of you fans to come through the turnstiles on Sunday, July 2nd. The gates open at 1 for Myron Noodleman. Of course, you can also stay after the ball game and watch fireworks from the stands. Well, I'll double check on that. Jack Rader, our general manager, says it's Freedom Festival night, so I'll check with Jack and see whether that includes staying after the game and watching fireworks on Sunday, July 2nd. Hey, we have a winner in our Bruce Moore Bonanza. Lanny Peterson, congratulations. Lanny, you've earned yourself a pair of tickets to the upcoming production of Bruce Moore's Fantastics and a Bruce Moore souvenir book. Lanny Peterson, congratulations. Lanny's correctly answered the Bruce Moore Bonanza question, and that Bruce Moore Bonanza question asked, what famous movie in the 1930s did Howard Hall take behind-the-scenes home movie footage of? That footage can be seen in the permanent exhibit located in the Visitor Center at Bruce Moore. Yes, Lanny Peterson, Howard Hall took behind-the-scenes home movie footage of the famous movie Gone with the Wind. And Lanny, that's fantastic that you've earned yourself a pair of tickets to the Classics at Bruce Moore performance of the Fantastics. It's an outdoor production and a Bruce Moore souvenir book. Lanny Peterson, congratulations. You are our Bruce Moore Bonanza question winner here from Fort Wayne, where we're in the midst of a rain delay. The Kernels leading the Wizards 3-1. Or excuse me, I wish that was the case. The Kernels leading the Wizards 1-0 with runners at first and third. That's where I had my mind on the number 3. Kernel runners at first and third, 1 out, top of the 7th. The Kernels ahead of Fort Wayne 1-0. Let's continue with our look at the upcoming entertainment and fun in the month of June and July here from Memorial Stadium. On Monday, July 3rd, the Kernels will be wearing 1906 Cedar Rapids Bunny uniforms. You talk about uniforms of historic significance from a bygone era. On Monday, July 3rd, that game starts at 2 o'clock. The gates open at 1. The Kernels will be wearing 1906 Cedar Rapids Bunny uniforms, and they'll be auctioned off after the game. Boy, I might be in on that bidding. I would love to bid on a 1906 Cedar Rapids Bunny replica uniform that the Kernels will wear Monday afternoon, July 3rd, a 2 o'clock game. Andy Pantini, the outstanding Kernel Director of Technology and Graphics, also wanted me to make sure that you knew that Monday, July 3rd, will be Iowa Public Television's Red Green Day. Iowa Public Television's Red Green Day is Monday, July 3rd. Again, it's important that you mark the starting time in your mind or on your calendar. 2 o'clock start on Monday afternoon, July 3rd. Tuesday, July 4th, the gates open at 4 o'clock. It's vital you remember that because it's one of our most popular giveaways of the season. It's McDonald's Bat Day. McDonald's Bat Day is Tuesday, July 4th. The first 1,000 kids 12 and under receive a free regulation-size wooden baseball bat thanks to McDonald's on Tuesday, July 4th. The gates open at 4 for a 5 o'clock start on the 4th of July. That's the night that you can stay after the game to watch the downtown fireworks. Tuesday, July 4th. A 5 o'clock start at home against Burlington, and you can stay after the game to watch the downtown fireworks. Wednesday, July 5th is a Free Money Wednesday. That means the first 750 of you Kernel fans will receive an envelope of cold cash, greenbacks from $1 up to $100 from Fairfax State Savings Bank. Fairfax State Savings Bank, Free Money Wednesday. Our next one is Wednesday, July 5th. As we take on Burlington, the gates open at 6 o'clock for a 7 o'clock start. Then another Bucket Cup Thursday, July 6th. The Kernels will be hosting Burlington, and 12-ounce beer, 12-ounce soda, and slushies, only $1, as 100.7 The Fox sponsors another Bucket Cup Thursday at the ballpark, Thursday, July 6th. Well, that's a look ahead at some of the upcoming attractions. Let's look way ahead into the middle of July. The Blues Brothers will be at the ballpark. Fireworks will follow on Saturday, July 15th. Order your tickets and avoid any waiting outside the Kernel ticket office. We try to minimize that wait, but you will have your tickets in hand if you call our ticket office at 896-7560, 896-7560. Or you can order Kernel tickets by logging online at www.kernels.com. That's www.kernels.com. Well, the rain continues to fall here at Memorial Stadium in Fort Wayne. We're in the top of the 7th inning. The Kernels, behind 6 shutout innings from starter Stephen Merrick, own a 1-0 lead over the Wizards. And we've been told we'll wait as long as 2 hours to resume this game and hope that will indeed be the case, that we get to restart the game. And hopefully the Kernels, with runners at first and third and 1 out in the top of the 7th, Larry Infante will be at the plate. He was ahead 1-0 when Brandon Higlin, the new pitcher for Fort Wayne, was told, along with his 8 teammates, to skedaddle off the diamond, and the tarp was put on here at Memorial Stadium. And the Kernels hope to add to their 1-0 lead when we resume play, hopefully within the next hour or so. I'm going to take a short break, run down and refill my water. We'll hear from a couple of our fine sponsors, and we'll have more fun, entertainment, and information for you here from Memorial Stadium in Fort Wayne during this rain delay. From Fort Wayne, the Kernels lead it 1-0 in the top of the 7th inning, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
Get ready for summer and beat high gas prices with a pre-owned vehicle from Randy Keel Honda. Their inventory is jam-packed with fuel-efficient vehicles designed to save you money. Get an economical sedan for your daily commute, or indulge your sporty side with a high-performance coupe. Randy Keel Honda carries a large selection of Honda certified pre-owned vehicles, backed by a 12-month, 12,000-mile comprehensive warranty and 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Need to haul the entire family? For a limited time, you can get special financing on Honda certified pre-owned Odyssey. Whatever your driving needs, Randy Keel Honda has the vehicle for you. Visit Randy Keel Honda on Centerpoint Road Northeast or online at randykeel.com. Randy Keel Honda, where they treat you right.
When you're in the market to buy or sell a home, how can you differentiate one realtor from another? The distinction is clear when you consider the remarkable offer that Dick Ramsey of Skogman Realty makes. Dick Ramsey's offer is unprecedented. Buy one of Dick Ramsey's homes, and Dick Ramsey will buy yours. That extraordinary pledge bears instant replay. Buy one of Dick Ramsey's homes, and Dick Ramsey will buy yours. For the best home buying or home selling experience in Cedar Rapids, turn to the home team. Skogman Realty's Dick Ramsey.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Fort Wayne, where the Kernels lead it 1-0 in the 7th inning. The tarp was put on at 8:52 local time, 7:52 Eastern Iowa time. It's now 9:42 local time, so it's been about a 50-minute rain delay, and we're going to bring you our baseball fun fact now during this rain delay. And interestingly enough, it involves a native of Fort Wayne. Cleveland Indian skipper Eric Wedge is from here in Fort Wayne. Our baseball fun fact, not just the fact that Eric Wedge, the manager of the Indians, is from Fort Wayne. Eric Wedge was an All-American catcher and second in the nation in batting average, home runs, and RBIs for the 1989 College World Series champion, Wichita State Shockers. Get this, Wichita State in 1981 won the College World Series with a record of 68 wins and 16 losses. Now, I'm going to do some quick math. 68 plus 16 is 74 games. Wichita State played more games in 1989 than the Kernels played in the first half of the year. The Kernels played 70 games in the first half, won 31, lost 39. Wichita State in 1989, with All-American catcher Eric Wedge, right here in Fort Wayne, won the national title with a record of 68 and 16. Eric Wedge teammates were Pat Mears and Mike Lansing. Pat Mears had a pretty good career for the Minnesota Twins as a middle infielder, and Mike Lansing was a very good second baseman with the Montreal Expos and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Eric Wedge had to undergo 8 surgeries during his professional career, and he was a third-round pick by the Boston Red Sox out of Wichita State. Eric Wedge had a brief major league career, and in 2001 he managed the AAA Buffalo Bisons to a phenomenal record of 91 wins. And Eric Wedge was the minor league manager of the year in the International League in 2001 when the Buffalo team he guided went 91 and 51. The subject of our baseball fun fact is proud Fort Wayne native Eric Wedge, and here to talk a little bit more about our circumstance, but let's start with Eric Wedge. Mike Maz, a familiar name to all of you great Kernel fans in Eastern Iowa. Mike is one of the closest friends I have, not only in the Midwest League, but in life. Mike kindly offered 5-6 years ago to talk about Fort Wayne and to do some play-by-play. He's now in his second full season as the play-by-play voice of the Wizards. And, Mike, before we get to this rain delay, what do you remember about Eric Wedge?
I'll be honest, John, I don't know that much about Eric. He played in 1983 for Northrop High School, which is one of the biggest high schools in this part of the state of Indiana. Of course, I didn't move to Indiana until 1987. But he also played collegiately at Wichita State. The Shockers have had a fine program for many, many years.
Yes, we talked about them winning the 1989 College World Series. Eric Wedge was an All-American catcher, and he's one of the youngest managers in the big league.
He really is. He got his start professionally in the Boston Red Sox system and moved up the chain. And unfortunately, as what so often happens with other catchers, the knees go out.
Well, Mike, you know him better than you're giving yourself credit for. We just noted that he had 8 surgeries.
Well, I do recall a number of surgeries for Eric, and when the knees go, a catcher can't crouch down, and without being able to crouch down, you can't catch, and you can't catch. Of course, you could DH in the American League, but basically your time in the big leagues is numbered. But he got into the managing aspect of things. I remember him leading Buffalo in AAA
to that phenomenal
International League championship.
Yes, 91 and 51. Now, does he ever come back to Fort Wayne?
Believe it or not, yes. And there's next, I believe, January is going to be the 3rd annual Eric Wedge baseball camp. It's a one-day affair, but they really spruce it up. And there is an organization here in Fort Wayne, John, called the Fort Wayne Sports Corporation. And I have some good friends who are members of that group who have really tried to spearhead a number of things, including involvement with the Wizards, because the Wizards have only been in the Midwest League since 1993.
That's right, and I bet this camp or this commission goes way back.
And a good friend of mine who I actually got started my broadcasting career with, he's an actual judge. He's called the judge. He sent me an email a couple of weeks ago asking for permission to come on a Wizards broadcast and promote the fact that Eric Wedge is going to be back in January for the 3rd annual Eric Wedge baseball camp. And I said, by all means, Phil, let's do it. And so sometime shortly down the road, my friend Judge Phil Houck will come on a Wizards broadcast, and we will talk about the Eric Wedge baseball camp.
Mike Maas, the outstanding play-by-play broadcaster for the Wizards, is visiting with us during this protracted rain delay. Now, in January, the Eric Wedge 3rd annual baseball camp will be held indoors. Mike, where will it be held? The Coliseum?
No, there is a facility called the Dome. It was originally built to be a golf dome where guys like you and me, when we can't play when the snow is on the ground, can still get out and hit the ball. It's a facility that has become a multifaceted facility. Here in Fort Wayne, there is a very strong NAIA football program at the University of St. Francis. They are this may sound crazy, two-time defending NAIA national runners-up.
Wow.
They have lost to a school in Montana, and I'm drawing a blank because I work for IPFW as well, Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne.
Sure.
But the St. Francis Cougars have made had a very strong NAIA football program, and when they are playing in their playoff games and they're getting ready, again, they've been to the championship game 2 years in a row, they have practiced there. It's also a facility in high school football in the state of Indiana. The season culminates with state championship games Thanksgiving weekend at the RCA Dome down in Indianapolis. Well, the Fort Wayne area has been blessed with some fine football, high school football. There are 5 classes in Indiana, and usually we've had at least one team, and on a couple of occasions we've had 3 teams playing for a state championship. The final week of preparation between what they call the semi-state here in Indiana and the championship game, that facility called the Dome is used for the football teams to practice.
Wow.
And now it has just changed ownership, and they're going to utilize it in even more ways. But one of the things that has taken place is the Eric Wedge baseball camp has taken place there. And I believe, and I don't have my figures exact, seems to me last year there was somewhere in the area of between 200 and 250 youngsters that partook in this baseball camp.
Mike Maas, I'm going to give you one moment to check with your son, Mikey. He may have some news about the status of this game. Mike Maas is visiting with his son about whether we're going to resume this game. I hope we have some good news. Mike Maas, this field drains very well, just like our new Veterans Memorial Stadium. Is there a time there you've now decided to take the tarp off?
Well, what's happening, I was just notified by my son Michael that Wizards General Manager Mike Nutter is going to meet with the 2 umpires and with both managers in roughly 10 to 12 minutes to find out. This game is an official game, John. So if Mother Nature is going to continue to hold her temper tantrum, the Kernels will walk out of here with a 1-0 victory.
And nobody wants that, not even the Kernels. As tough a season as we've had, Mike, we are like you. Our general manager, Jack Rader, in this situation, Jack would be consulting with the umpires. He does not make the call or pull the strings. It's the umpire's decision, but Mike Nutter will be letting them know two things. What is the forecast for the next hour or so, and what condition is the field in?
You know, the ironic part is, and with our being able to use laptops these days, I have the Weather Channel on in our booth next door. There's only one little cell, and on the map, it's got the words Fort Wayne. There is a little green cell over the A in Fort Wayne.
Oh.
Nothing else. The only place I see anything green is over near Erie, Pennsylvania.
Oh.
So this came on very unexpectedly.
Yes.
Again, this game was called at 8:52
for a rain delay.
Right, and we're now coming up on 9:49, so we're nearing the 1 hour mark. And
I'm still pretty
This has just been a well-played game. Give Stephen Merrick all the credit in the world. Of course, you know, we were at your place about 10 days ago, and Merrick threw 6 innings of giving up 1 run, 4 hits, walking 1, striking out a season-high 12 Wizard batters. In fact, 16 batters by the Wizards struck out that day. The game ended up 8-3, and I think that was the high water mark both individually for Merrick and as a team.
Yes.
And it was a low water mark for the Wizards, having 16 guys go back to the dugouts empty-handed. But
well, Mike, thank you for remembering that great outing. And Stevie Delabar in that series a week and a half ago before the All-Star break on a Tuesday afternoon spun 7 innings of 1-hit, no-run baseball at us. He was a 2-1 winner, so it's appropriate that it's 1-0 tonight.
In that game with Delabar, he retired the first 12 batters before giving up a leadoff double in the bottom of the 5th.
To Flint Whipkey.
Yeah. And you're right. The 2 good right-handers tonight. We had a great game last night. And I know you and I talked about it. Wizards are lucky. They're 3-3 in extra inning games. You guys are going to find a good lawyer to sue for non-support, being 2-11. But the bottom line is, this is still good Midwest League Class A baseball. I mentioned I have a broadcast partner for our home games here by the name of Ken Horman, who's in his 12th year of calling the home games here in Fort Wayne. And we have talked time and time again, we've been spoiled. And I think maybe all the listeners, maybe even back in eastern Iowa as well as in Indiana and Ohio, this is Class A baseball. There's still 3 steps to go on the ladder to the big leagues, but we get spoiled.
By the great play every night.
We have seen some great play by some of these young men, and maybe we come to expect maybe more than we should. One of the things that we've noted tonight and last night on the part of both teams, how certain players are able to execute.
Yes.
The sacrifice bunts, the moving over.
Yes.
First inning tonight was weird with 3 official errors and should have possibly been a 4th, although it was a fielder's choice and you can never assume a double play. But still, there's been some very good baseball. And the only shame with this one, John, no shame if this game is called, because Cedar Rapids got the run they needed in the 4th inning. And what is a tough one for the Wizards, 4,898 fans here tonight.
For fireworks.
For fireworks night, Lutheran night.
Mike, I still think we're going to get it in. I really do.
I hope you're right.
I really do.
The Wizards lost 3 games in the first half. And 2 of those games here at home. And 2 of those games were games, and you being involved with the reading programs back there in Cedar Rapids, we had 2 games where we had over 6,000 sold tickets as part of the reading program that we lost.
Oh.
And one of the games we lost, we made up in Peoria. Ironically, Peoria wins the first half in the West, and the Wizards took 6 out of 8 against the Chiefs.
Well, you got to feel good about that.
And but we lost some games to weather. It's just the nature of the business. And again, this is an official game. One way or another, there's going to be a winner, whether it ends up 1-0 or whether we move on.
Mike, it's just barely drizzling now, so I like our chances of getting that tarp off and resuming play. Neither starter, of course. Well, Stevie Delabar was lifted after giving up 1 unearned run in 6 innings. The Kernels starter, as you complimented, we appreciate that. Stephen Merrick's 6 shutout innings. He won't resume. Now, you're looking down.
I'm looking in front of the Wizards dugout, John, where Wizards general manager Mike Nutter and some of his able-bodied colleagues along with a couple of members of the Memorial Stadium grounds crew were there.
They look like they're ready to pull tarp.
If they pull the tarp, they put in 3 additional drains last year.
Yes.
John. This is one of the better draining fields in the Midwest League. Even if they start pulling the tarp right now at 9:53, we are a good 25 to 30 minutes away from being able to resume.
Sure, because we have to squeegee the warning track.
Yeah, and we'll see what happens. But I hope you're right, John.
Here come the umpires.
Well, let's see if they make a signal, because if they decide to do the old...
We don't want the cutthroat signal.
No, we don't want that.
We want a signal to move the tarp and resume this game. The umpires, DeAndre Anderson and Kellen Levy, of course, sponsored by Anderson and Brown Eye Care, are in front of the Wizard home first base dugout. They are conferring with Mike Nutter, the general manager. A very light, I would call it, sprinkle is falling here. Mike Nutter, the voice of the Wizards, is with us, and we'll keep an eye on the umpires. Now, I wonder if this is the meeting with Bobby Magallanes.
It might be.
And Randy Reddy, or whether they'll be left out of the loop and let Mike Nutter, the general manager, advise the umpires. And again, this is an umpire's call. Before a game ever starts, the general manager determines whether a game will be... Now, wait a minute. We have your wife, Sue, coming in. Sue, is there any word to Mike? Okay, Sue's nodding or shaking her head no.
She's just trying to keep me honest, John. Going on 33 years of trying to keep me honest.
Now, wait a minute. I think they're signaling to get the tarp off the field.
Wow.
There's some pointing going on towards the tarp, and that's good news. We're in a rain delay, and it's been over an hour now, 62 minutes since the action was halted and the tarp was put on. The umpires are now marching. The tandem of umpires are marching over toward the Colonel third base dugout, and Mike Nutter, the Wizard general manager, is towing about 15 feet behind them in tow. Let's see if we can see Bobby Magallanes pop out of that Colonel third base dugout. The umpires are on the edge of the dugout talking to Bobby Magallanes, the Colonel manager, and I'm sure what they're doing, Mike, is if they've decided to pull the tarp, they're probably saying, Bobby, have a pitcher ready by 10:30.
Well, the key elements, John, is the warning track. The grass is going to be fine.
Sure.
The infield's going to be fine because they got the tarp down here in near record time. The key is going to be the warning track and how much water has built up. Again, this field drains very, very well.
Yes.
And it's taken some beatings already this year, but we'll just have to see.
So far, the tarp has not been removed. The umpires are continuing to talk with Colonel Skipper Bobby Magallanes. There are at least 6 or 8 able-bodied fellas.
Oh, there'll be more than that.
Yes, they're ready to move tarp. You're enjoying Colonel baseball here from Northeast Indiana as we near 9 o'clock Eastern Iowa time. It's almost 10 o'clock here at Memorial Stadium in the Summit City of Fort Wayne. You're enjoying the ball game on 1450 KMRY, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We'll be in the zone tomorrow for a 640 South Slope Communications Triple Play show. And then again for the series finale here Sunday afternoon, we'll be in the zone 1600 at 1240 local time, Eastern Iowa time. For the series finale, Mike Maas, the play-by-play broadcaster of the Wizards, is standing with us, helping us during this protracted rain delay. We sure appreciate you being with us here on KMRY. I know the program director, Eric Walker, and the president and owner of KMRY, Rick Sellers, and the vice president, Kevin Alexander, are probably thinking, well, John, I hope you know what you're doing, being on the air for an hour and 5 minutes of rain delay. We've had a lot of fun, though, Mike.
Let me say one thing to the listeners, loyal listeners in Eastern Iowa, and I'm very biased when I say this. I consider John...
Now, wait a minute. Wait, your son, Mikey, hold on. Okay, Mikey, your son...
They're still meeting. They should have a decision made momentarily.
Okay.
Now, let me get back to my biased, non-paid thought process. Folks in Eastern Iowa, you've got one of the best in my friend to my right here. John Rogers is in his 11th year as being the voice of the Kernels. He has been a joy and an inspiration not only to me, but to several others in our business throughout this Midwest League. Without getting myself into too much trouble, it is widely considered that my boss, Mike Nutter, is one of the most respected general managers in the league. It's without a doubt John Rogers is the most loved and respected broadcaster in the Midwest League. And Just enjoy the tones of John.
That's very kind. Mike Moz is kind to say those complimentary words about our friendship, and I certainly treasure the opportunity I've been given by the Kernels in this great league the last 11 years.
Got some more information,
okay,
John.
Mike.
There is become a discussion where, believe it or not, League President George Spelius may be contacted.
Okay.
And the problem is, because this top half of the seventh inning has begun,
yes,
there are 2 runners on at first and third, 1 out,
yes,
and a 1-0 count
on Larry
Infante.
Yep.
Because the inning has started. If they do not play anymore tonight, does this become a suspended game to be resumed tomorrow prior to the start of the regularly scheduled game, or does it go in as a finished game? That's what we were just notified, that they're trying to discuss that and resolve that issue right now.
And I'm sure that's where the umpires are going, is to call George Spelius, the league president. Hopefully George is still awake and hasn't turned in for the night. It's only
9 o'clock in Beloit.
Yes, but George has had some health problems recently.
Yeah.
No, Mike, I wasn't making... You're right. We shouldn't make light. I think that's exactly what the umpires are. Bobby Magianis now is talking to Mike Nutter, and I think Bobby and Mike are agreeing that a decision needs to be made about, A, whether to continue tonight, B, if we can't continue, what will be the scenario? Will it be
I'm sorry, John, go ahead.
Will it be the completion of a suspended game tomorrow, or will the Kernels be awarded a victory here tonight? We don't know yet.
I'm convinced that there will be no more baseball tonight.
Really?
Just my gut. The fact that they're even discussing this possible issue, whether it be a suspension or a completed game, tells me that the outlook for playing baseball is not the brightest right now.
Yes.
But, again, we're up here 4 stories high. They are down on the field in front of the Kernel dugout. And basically we'll just have to stay tuned, and we will try to keep you and your listeners abreast of what's going on as quickly as possible.
Now, Mike Moz, with Kent Harmon's help down the press alley here, do you need to get back to inform your listeners?
In about 4 minutes.
Hold on. Mike Moz has word from his son, Mikey. We're going to see whether a decision has been... Mike Moz is...
Yes, I do.
Okay, Mike Moz has been asked to consult a rule book. A rule book is being delivered, Mike. That means that George Spelius must need... now, are there... Mike Moz, now the question during this rain delay becomes... Are Midwest League rules different from Professional Baseball League rules? We're trying to decide. According to Mike Moz, he is 90% sure that we will not play baseball tonight. What we're not sure of is Mike's wife has now come in with some more word on the situation. We're not sure whether this game will be awarded in a W for the Kernels, leading 1-0 in the top of the 7th inning, or whether the game will be made or continued as deemed a suspended game. And, Mike, I think you've got to scurry down to help with this decision.
I'm going to talk, before I became the broadcaster, I was one of the scorers for 3 years, and I'm going to talk to our official scorer, Mike Jewell, and if need be, I may have to go down to the down there with everybody else, but Mike, I will come back and chat as best I can with
Mike,
you,
this is much more important. Mike Moz, thank you so much. We are in a rain delay, and we want to remind you again that you're tuned to 1450 KMRY Cedar Rapids. No word yet as to whether this game will be resumed. You heard Mike Moz say he's very doubtful, but now the question becomes whether this game will be continued tomorrow as a suspended contest, or whether the Kernels, who have played the requisite 5 full innings, will be rewarded a victory here tonight, leading 1-0. Hope you enjoyed our baseball fun fact about Fort Wayne native Eric Wedge. He was an All-American catcher for the 1989 Wichita State Shocker College World Series Championship team that went 68-16. Eric Wedge, one of the youngest managers in the major leagues, a native of Fort Wayne, Indiana. So, too, by the way, is the woman that plays on Cheers as the barmaid, Shelley Long, I believe her name is. She's from Fort Wayne, Indiana as well. Well, thanks for being with us during this protracted rain delay. John Rogers reporting to you from Fort Wayne's Memorial Stadium. We're awaiting a decision on whether this game will be resumed, and also, if it's not resumed, whether it will result in a Colonel 1-0 victory or whether it'll be completed tomorrow, suspended in other words, and whether we'll pick up action tomorrow evening. We're going to take another break here from Memorial Stadium and let you hear from some of our outstanding businesses that believe in the value of wholesome, affordable family entertainment and also believe in trying to reach you, the listener, with their promotional or public relations or advertising message. We'll take a 90-second break here from Memorial Stadium and be back in just a bit here on the Kernel Radio Network.
Members or owners who make a good team. Service second to none. South Slope Cooperative Communication.
Are you looking to take your baseball or softball game to the next level? The premier place to do it is Perfect Game, located across the street from Veterans Memorial Stadium. Perfect Game's professional baseball and softball instructors will help improve your pitching, hitting, throwing, fielding, and base running abilities in Iowa's premier training facility. For the best individual baseball and softball instruction and training, visit Perfect Game. That's Perfect Game, just a fly ball away from Veterans Memorial Stadium.
When it comes to making buying decisions, people let their fingers do the walking through Yellow Book Yellow Pages. It's no wonder. Yellow Book's packed with ads, coupons, restaurant menus, and more. Delivering to homes and businesses throughout the area, Yellow Book combines the features consumers want with advertising rates business owners can afford. To place your ad, call 1-800-YB-YELLOW. That's 1-800-YB-YELLOW. Yellow Book, not the other book.
John Rogers back with you here during a rain delay at Memorial Stadium in Fort Wayne. The rain has all but stopped. I don't see any rain pitter-pattering on the puddles on the white tarp, and we're awaiting a word from the umpires as to whether the Kernels will come away with a 1-0 win tonight or whether we'll try to pull tarp and resume the game in the top of the 7th inning with the Kernels leading 1-0, or a third scenario that I thought was out of the question would be to have this game suspended and pick up action tomorrow in the 7th inning with the Kernels ahead 1-0. All of that yet to be determined here from Memorial Stadium in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's a 390-mile trip from the City of Five Seasons here to Memorial Stadium. And now the umpires have come back onto the field, and they have indicated this game has been, I believe, called off at 10:06 local time. A signal was given by umpire Kellen Levy. He waved his hands up in the air in a cross manner, so I believe the only thing yet to be determined is whether... Now, Mike Jewell, please jump on the air for 1 second. Mike Jewell, we were unsure whether this game was official in a 1-0 Colonel victory or whether there was some thought to contact George Spelius, the league president, suspend the game and pick it up tomorrow in the 7th inning. Mike, what was the verdict?
From what we've been told, that it is going to be a completed game and the Kernels will win 1-0.
Mike Jewell, thank you so much for coming in. We saw the umpire give this signal, and ordinarily that means the game is over rather than suspended. But you are under the impression that there will be no suspension of this game. We will play Game 3 tomorrow with the series tied to the game apiece.
That is correct.
Mike Jewell, thank you so much. Mike is another longtime friend here at Memorial Stadium. And, Mike, I know you have to tend to your duties, but what a tough break for the Wizards. Not only the game, but the fact we had a crowd of almost 5,000 with fireworks.
Yeah, it really hurts the Wizards. But, I mean, you got to remember there's still plenty of season left to play.
Oh, yes. We just started the second half.
Yep.
Mike Jewell, thank you so much. And we'll get the details. I don't even know if the time of game is... we'll figure that out in a few moments. Well, we have a final now here from Fort Wayne. The Kernels behind Stephen Merrick beat the Wizards 1-0 in a game that was called in the top of the 7th inning. So the Kernels have evened their record in the second half at 1 win and 1 loss. The Kernels win this one 1-0, and we'll bring you the totals, highlights, and more next on the Kernel Curtain Call here on the Kernel Radio Network.
When it comes to auto insurance, Westside Agency in Palo, your professional Pekin insurance agency, will make certain you're properly insured with the right coverages and deductibles. Westside Agency will tell you about the money-saving discounts from Pekin Insurance. Multi-car discount, good student discount, loss-free discount, 45-plus auto discount, auto home discount, low mileage discount. To see if you qualify for any of these auto discounts that will lower your premiums, visit Westside Agency in Palo. Honey, don't throw those cardboard boxes away.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that we're not allowed to do that. What should I do with them?
Cardboard is recyclable. Just cut the boxes up and flatten the pieces. There's some string in the garage that you can bundle the pieces up with. Make sure you use the string, though, not tape.
Okay, I cut the cardboard boxes up, flatten the pieces, and bundle them together with the string. Now what do I do with them?
Just set it out next to the blue curbside recycling box.
Remember, cardboard is not accepted as garbage. Follow the steps you heard carried out by our happy couple and recycle your cardboard.
John Rogers back with you here on 1450 KMRY. The Kernels in last night's 12-inning loss, 3-2. But with Nick Adenhart pitching, that game took 3 hours and 4 minutes. And this 6 1/3 inning contest, coupled with a long rain delay, also 3 hours and 4 minutes, and the Kernels have won it 1-0. The game was delayed at 8:52 local time and called at 10:06 local time, so a rain delay of over an hour. And behind Stephen Merrick's brilliant 6 innings of shutout ball, the Kernels have evened this series with Fort Wayne at a game apiece. We're going to take another short break and be back with you with the Kernel Curtain Call in just a moment. 1-0 Kernels, the final.
Next up, a musical taste of Dr. Pepper. It's a new spin on an old vibe. From me to you, a tasty sip of Dr. Pepper for your ears, and it starts like this.
I'm a pepper, he's a pepper, she's a pepper, we're a pepper, wouldn't you like to be a pepper?
Now that's cool, but pepper is a little better. So let's slide in a taste of this.
I'm a pepper,
Right on. But there's still more to it. I mean, there's nothing like it, because every sip is a kick and mash up of 23 different flavors. So for the true taste of Dr. Pepper, we dial it up even more.
I'm a pepper.
You know it. With 23 flavors mixed into one bold taste, every sip is a cool mix of music to your mouth. Dr. Pepper, there's more to it.
Your home is a place for savoring all the good things in life. It's a place for celebrations. It's a place where memories are created. To make sure your home is properly insured, visit Sheets Forest Draper in Marion, your professional Pekin insurance agency. Sheets Forest Draper will give you all important details about homeowners insurance with complete coverages and surprisingly affordable rates. Visit Sheets Forest Draper in Marion for homeowners insurance for your well-lived and well-loved home.
It's time for the Kernels Curtain Call. Now, with a game recap, a complete look at the State Farm scoreboard, and a look ahead to upcoming action, let's rejoin the voice of the Kernels, John Rogers.
We're back at Memorial Stadium, a rain-soaked diamond before a crowd of 4,898. The Kernels have evened their second-half record and even this series with the Wizards behind 6 magnificent frames from Stephen Merrick, Colonel All-Star Stephen Merrick, who posts his 8th win of the season against only 1 loss. The Kernels shut out the Wizards 1-0. The game was delayed in the top of the 7th inning with the Kernels leading 1-0, and then the game was called due to wet grounds at 10:06 local time, so a rain delay of an hour and 14 minutes, and the Kernels win it 1-0. As is our custom on the Kernel Curtain Call, we begin with the game scoring recap. Stevie Delabar, who pitched 7 shutout innings against our ball club back at home on June 13th, a Tuesday afternoon, he was a 2-1 winner. He allowed only 1 hit in 7 innings. Delabar was opposed by Colonel starter Stephen Merrick tonight, and what a pitching duel we had. Both teams had a chance to score in the first inning. The Colonel's Brad Kuhn extended his hitting streak to 16 games with a leadoff single in the first inning. He was the league's leading theft artist. Kuhn, though, was thrown out trying to steal second by Wizard catcher Nick Hundley. Hundley Stacia followed with a base hit. Larry Infante then reached on a fielder's choice, on which Stacia was forced at second base by the shortstop Matt Bush. Jordan Renz reached on an error by the second baseman Jesus Lopez. The Colonels had first and third, 2 out, but Stevie Delabar got Clint Whipke for the final out of the inning, looking on strikes. Meanwhile, in the bottom of the first, the Wizards had a great chance to score. Javis Diaz, who had 3 hits in last night's Wizard win, scored 2 of the Fort Wayne 3 runs, stroked a pitch into left field that was dropped by Stantrell Smith. But a double play ensued as Seth Johnson hit a line drive to the center fielder, Brad Kuhn, and Diaz was running on the 3-2 pitch, and Seth Johnston, lining out to center, was then doubled off first. The play went 8-3. Will Venable then reached on an error at second by Larry Infante, but the Colonel right-hander Merrick got Kyle Blanks to bounce out into a force out to end that first inning. We'll tell you how the Colonels scored their only run of the game in just a moment. We want a final update from Mike Maz, the voice of the Wizards. Mike is standing by, and Mike Jewell, the official scorer, told us that this game was not only called but results in a Colonel 1-0 win. Can you confirm that?
Yes, we can, John. And I'm anxious because when we get off, we're off the air now on our Fort Wayne broadcast, but when you get done, I'm anxious to get down and talk to the officials. I honestly feel that the right call was made because, A, the game was official. The losing team has to have 5 at-bats, and in this case, the Wizards not only had 5 at-bats, they had 6 at-bats. And, again, we're playing Midwest League rules, which is slightly different from Major League rules. And I really feel the right call was made. And the Colonels get a well-deserved 1-0 win, especially Stephen Merrick now goes up to 8-1.
Well, Mike Maz, thank you so much, not only for that update to confirm what Mike Jewell had been sure of as well, but Mike, thank you for dropping in to help me out as a friend and colleague. Rain delays are a lot of fun. We covered a lot of bases. My friend Fred Nash told us all about Fort Wayne and his family. Even his babysitter told us about her being homeschooled and what the neat parts of homeschooling are. But, Mike, thank you very much, and we look forward to resuming this series as scheduled tomorrow evening. My pleasure, John. Hopefully we can work things out. We might even be able to work an inning or two together. That would be a tradition we'd like to continue. Mike Maz, the fine, outstanding play-by-play broadcaster of the Wizards, thank you for confirming this Colonel 1-0 win. The only run scored in this game was by the Colonels in the top of the 4th inning. Flint Whipke drew a 1-out walk. With 2 out, a pitch up and in to the batter Mark Trumbo was ruled a pass ball. I thought it was a wild pitch, but they ruled it a pass ball, and Whipke went to second. After Mark Trumbo flew out to center, Josh Davies, making his Colonel debut, who reached all 3 times tonight. He singled his first time up in the second inning. Davies lined a single into left, scoring Flint Whipke and giving the Colonels a 1-0 lead. That was the only run of the game. Stephen Merrick pitched out of trouble. That will be our PRC play of the game. Merrick pitched out of a big jam in the 3rd inning when the game was scoreless, and the Colonels win it in a 7 1/3 inning fashion, 1-0 tonight over Fort Wayne. 1-0 Colonels. We'll be back with our PRC play of the game in just a moment. This is Colonel Baseball on the Colonel Radio Network.
Fairfax State Savings Bank is paying you to come to the ballpark every Wednesday this season. You heard right. Fairfax State Savings Bank is paying you to come to Veterans Memorial Stadium every Wednesday this season. The first 750 of you Colonel fans to enter the gates before Wednesday's home game will receive an envelope full of money inside from Fairfax State Savings Bank. Each of those 750 envelopes will contain a greenback up to a $100 bill. Fairfax State Savings Bank, free money Wednesdays. Come early to line your pocket with cash.
There's a lot you can do to satisfy your taste for Italian. You can marry one. Do you, Susan Smith, take Giuseppe Florentino? You can drive one. Or you can go to Zio Giano's and feast on Zio's homemade bread, pizzas, and pasta, authentically prepared as Zio Giano's famous Italian style. Zio Giano's for the hometown taste of Italy.
Oh, come to Zio Giano's, the pasta makes you Zio. Come to Zio Giano's for real Italiano. Come to Zio Giano's, the pasta.
The Kernels win a rain-shortened 1-0 victory. Here's the final line score for the victorious Kernels: 1 run, 7 hits, 2 errors. We left 7. Fort Wayne, no runs, 3 hits, 3 errors. The Wizards left 6 aboard. The Colonel winning pitcher was Stephen Merrick. He's now 8-1. He and Nick Aidenhart are a combined 17-3. The Wizard tough luck loser was Stevie Delabar. He's 5-5. Merrick's now 2-0 against the Wizards. Delamar's 1-1 against the Kernels. The game took 3 hours and 4 minutes, and 4,898 were here to see the Kernels even the series with the Wizards at a game apiece. Now it's time for our PRC play of the game. PRC is proud to support the communities where their employees live and work, and that's why for every home run this season, PRC gladly brings food home to our community. They make a $25 donation for every Colonel home run this season. It's PRC's Community Care Home Runs for the Hungry campaign. Colonels did not homer tonight, but have hit 42 this year, and that means the Haycap Food Reservoir has received $1,050 from PRC. The Wizards, in a scoreless game in the third inning, facing Stephen Merrick, got a leadoff single from their number 9 hitter, Jesus Lopez. Javis Diaz then bounced one to first, and Mark Trumbo threw to, or check that. Yes, Mark Trumbo threw to second trying to get Jesus Lopez, and the ball hit Lopez in the back. Javis Diaz reached. It was first and third, nobody out. First and second, nobody out in the third inning for Fort Wayne. A fly ball to center by Seth Johnston allowed Jesus Lopez, who started the inning, to advance from second to third. Javis Diaz then stole second. The Wizards had runners at second and third, only one out, and Will Venable, the Wizard leading hitter, fourth in the Midwest League with a .315 average, batted against Stephen Merrick. Here's our PRC play of the game.
Hundley Stacia hopped up and down in anguish. He thought, too, that Javis Diaz was out at second. Now a high fly ball into shallow center, and Hundley Stacia backpedaling, calls for it, has it. Hundley Stacia has it, and then hits the cutoff man in front of the mound, Mark Trumbo, to hold Jesus Lopez at third base. Oh, what a big, big second out recorded by the Kernels and Hundley Stacia, who drifted back into shallow left center to catch that pop-up by Will Venable for the second out here in the Wizard third inning.
That was a huge out recorded by Stephen Merrick. Merrick went on to strike out Kyle Blanks looking, and in a 0-0 game, Stephen Merrick preventing the Wizards from taking the lead. Remember, Fort Wayne had runners at second and third in the third inning, only one out, and Stephen Merrick slammed the door. The Colonels scored the game's only run on a 2-out single by newcomer Josh Davies, an Australian. It plated Flint Whipke in the fourth inning. Stephen Merrick was the winner in the Colonel 1-0 triumph here tonight. That's our PRC play of the game. If you're looking for a career opportunity with a company with a great heart, contact PRC online, their website, www.prcnet.com. We'll be back in Fort Wayne, where the Colonels win it 1-0 in a rain-shortened affair, with a complete look at the State Farm Major League scoreboard. That's coming up next here on the Colonel Curtain Call on the Colonel Radio Network.
The hottest feature in beautiful Veterans Memorial Stadium is the coolest place. It's the Whirling Waters Home Run Hot Tub. How can you and your friends relax and splash it up from the most coveted spot at the ballpark? Simply register at Center Point in Westdale Mall and listen. If you're selected as the winner, you'll enjoy the ultimate entertainment experience. AquaJet Stream Comfort atop the left field wall in the Whirling Waters Home Run Hot Tub. Brought to you by Westdale Mall and by Whirling Waters. Your chance to splash it up.
Get ready for summer and beat high gas prices with a pre-owned vehicle from Randy Keel Honda. Their inventory is jam-packed with fuel-efficient vehicles designed to save you money. Get an economical sedan for your daily commute, or indulge your sporty side with a high-performance coupe. Randy Kill Honda carries a large selection of Honda certified pre-owned vehicles, backed by a 12-month, 12,000-mile comprehensive warranty and 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Need to haul the entire family? For a limited time, you can get special financing on Honda certified pre-owned Odyssey. Whatever your driving needs, Randy Kill Honda has the vehicle for you. Visit Randy Kill Honda on Centerpoint Road Northeast or online at randykill.com. Randy Kill Honda, where they treat you right.
1-0 Kernels behind Stephen Merrick in a rain-shortened 7-inning affair, and the Kernels are 1-1 in the second half. Before we get to the State Farm Major League Scoreboard, I want to thank all of you who were with us not only for the broadcast of the game, but throughout the rain delay, which was an hour and 14 minutes, plus the Colonel Curtin call. I know rain delays aren't easy. I will always do my best to help entertain you, to inform you, to bring some things to the airwaves that maybe we don't have time to do all the time. And I know that Rick Sellers and John Phelan, the presidents respectively, or the general managers respectively of KMRY and KCRG, would have it no other way. And I really appreciate all of you who stayed with us during the rain delay and helped root the Kernels home to a 1-0 victory here tonight. Thank you so much. Now, State Farm Insurance agents Brad Dunn, Dale Thompson, Al Shetler, and Gary Shubat proudly step to the plate from Fort Wayne to bring us the State Farm Major League Scoreboard, and we have numerous finals. Let's begin at Comerica Park, where the Tigers keep the Cardinals reeling. The Tigers thumped the Redbirds tonight 10-6 in interleague play. In the Battle of the Beltway at Camden Yards, the Orioles trimmed the Nationals 2-1. That's a final. The Buckeye State had a showdown tonight. It was at Jacobs Field, and the Reds blanked the Indians 3-0 in Cleveland tonight. In the Bronx, the Yankees shaded Florida 6-5 in a rematch of the World Series from a couple of years ago. The Yankees 6, the Marlins 5. The Mets are playing great baseball. New York trounced the Blue Jays 6-1 tonight at Rogers Center. They're in the bottom of the 10th inning at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, and the Devil Rays and Braves are tied 3-3 in the bottom of the 10th inning. Bottom of the 8th inning at Fenway Park, the Red Sox are ahead of the Phillies 7-2. The Twins are playing at the Metrodome, and they lead the Cubs in the bottom half of the 8th inning 7-2. Twins. Top of the 7th inning at Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, it's the Brewers on top of the Royals 6-2 in the top of the 7th. They're in the bottom of the 5th inning at U.S. Cellular Field, a rematch of last fall's World Series between the White Sox and Astros. It's the White Sox leading Houston 6-3 in the bottom of the 5th inning. At Coors Field in Denver, it's the Rockies 3, the Rangers 1, and that contest is in the top of the 5th inning. Now, let's move ahead. Good news from Bank One Ballpark. Our parent club, the Angels, are batting in the top of the 3rd inning, and the Angels lead Arizona 4-0. They're in the bottom of the 1st inning at Petco Park, and it's the Mariners and Padres no score in the bottom of the 1st. Top of the 1st inning, Oakland batting at AT&T Ballpark in San Francisco. That's a Bay Bridge rivalry. Oakland nothing. The Giants yet to bat in the top of the 1st inning in San Francisco, and they're not underway yet. They should be shortly. The only non-interleague action is at Chavez Ravine, the Pirates and the Dodgers. That's our complete look at the State Farm Major League Scoreboard, brought to you by State Farm Insurance agents Dale Thompson, Brad Dunn, Gary Shubat, and Al Shetler. The Kernels, behind Stephen Merrick's 6 innings of shutout ball in a rain-shortened affair, beat the Wizards 1-0. And that evens the series at a game apiece. We'll bring you the 3rd game of this series tomorrow night, 5:40 South Slope Communications Triple Play Show time. That game will be heard on 1600 in the zone, 1600 AM KCRG. That game at 5:40 tomorrow evening. It's been our pleasure bringing you the game tonight. Stephen Merrick's now 8-1. The Kernels get an RBI single from newcomer third baseman Josh Davies from Australia. He played split whiskey in the fourth inning with the game's only run, and the Kernels win it 1-0. Thanks to one and all for being with us, not only for the action, but during the protracted rain delay and the Colonel Curtin call. The final again here from the Summit City of Fort Wayne. The Kernels 1 and the Wizards 0. John Rogers wishing you a great start to your weekend. This has been Colonel Baseball on the Colonel Radio Network.